Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome into a new edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Zach Jackson, Dustin Fox, Mikey McNuggets coming at you on a Wednesday morning. It's a first-time panel, guys.
Good morning.
The
Is
three
Is this
of
my
us.
one shot today? What's going on? Steve, you messing with me? Oh, hey. Good morning. How we doing?
So we are here. We are thrilled. We got some Browns free agency news to talk about. We have a Cavs nationally televised matchup, potential playoff preview.
That might be a bad sign after Sunday.
To discuss, we're going to have Jay Crawford, which, by the way, it was nice enough here the last 2 days that if Jay had joined us from Arizona, it'd be like, it's okay. Yeah. We're having our own nice weather in Cleveland. It's not nice today, guys. It's miserable.
Yeah, but it's over 40 degrees.
True.
So that's victory.
For today.
For today.
For today.
It's supposed to snow tomorrow, which I'm not looking forward to, but thrilled to have you guys in here. Dustin, how was tennis this morning?
It's great, man. I was on the court actually late this morning. Slept in a little bit.
What's late for you?
7.
Okay.
Yes. Yesterday I was on the court at 5:20. But I slept in a little bit today. It's good.
I was walking the local park yesterday, and all you could hear is pickleball.
Oh,
like it was June.
Everywhere.
Yeah, the sound is really a problem. You know, they've like got noise ordinances and issues in Florida. These people, because all the neighborhoods, man, in these parks, at dusk they basically say you can't do it because it's a problem.
See, I knew nothing about how popular it was. Right?
Oh, you know now.
Yeah. So here's what reinforced it for me. A few summers ago, I guess it was June, the Browns moved a minicamp practice to the Hall of Fame. We'll always call it Fawcett Stadium.
For
but
sure.
It's not called that
I still
anymore,
call
right?
it Fawcett Stadium.
Right. So I'm a little early, and I needed to pull and do some work, so I went down to Stadium Park right there, and just figured I'd be in the shade and do it. You couldn't get a parking spot because there was a pickleball tournament going on.
Do they play? So they have a great tennis setup down. Or they did for years.
I think it's been changed to pickleball.
Mostly pickle.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, I just needed 15 minutes to hang out, and I couldn't find a parking spot because there was so much pickleball going on.
And then you had to deal with the sound.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's okay. Onward, we fight.
As far as you haven't played yet, dude. Pickleball is a good sport for you.
Messed around with it on vacation.
Yeah.
It's
fun. My issues with the game is not that it's an activity. I love that. It's just like the sound, and then it's the arrogance of the idiots playing the sport.
That's my issue.
Yeah.
People who play pickleball walk around like they're like elite athletes.
They peacock like they're D1 athletes.
So at my local YMCA, there's a league, like a morning thing, and somebody's like, you should do it, like in the off season, and I'm like, yeah. Well, there's like a waiting list. Like, it is crazy. So
to get in the league, or just
to even have a chance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I hear it's like ultra competitive too.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. These people that play that sport are ultra competitive. But it's. Have you seen some of the viral videos of these fights?
Yeah, you're passionate about it too, but these people are really taking it to it.
I'm passionate about tennis because it's a real sport, and it's really hard. Like, tennis is really hard.
Right.
It's damn near impossible. Like, if you've never played tennis before and you go pick up a racket, it is very hard to hit a ball.
Yeah.
When you're moving and when the ball's moving and at 100 miles an hour, it's very hard. Pickleball is very easy.
You just have that competitive gene that tennis has driven you. It's kind of filled that void.
Well,
for
it's
you,
so
right?
it is.
I just want to win Twitter fights. You want to be good at tennis.
What's your Twitter fight record?
132-2.
Fair enough. Bull said yesterday that he was, or actually G.
No, the answer is 0 and 134 because nobody ever wins a Twitter fight.
That's the right answer. That's what I was getting to.
So I do them a lot less than I used to.
G and Bull.
Was it a draw with?
No, we're not. Talking about that.
Sorry. All right.
G and Bull got into a little county score match yesterday.
He knew where I was going. Sorry.
I knew exactly where you were going to, and I'm glad we pivoted away before anyone else got in trouble.
Sorry,
but
I'm ornery.
yesterday on the show, G and Bull got into a spirited debate, and G was making points that things that hadn't happened yet, he was counting as wins for him, which is fine. We all count wins until they hatch, and then if it's not, you just forget it ever existed. You don't count them as a loss. It just falls off the scoreboard. And it was 13-0 yesterday for G. So I think we're going to have to start tracking just random things throughout the day. You Twitter fights. I want your tennis record every morning. Okay. And I want to know how many mosh pits you survive. Steve, whatever. What can we count for Steve?
How many cruises he's planning?
Well, he's got 3 in the books right now.
He just said bodies that he's hiding and people he's killed.
You know what's crazy?
Can I come out on there? Can I come out
What's
on
crazy
the
is
glass today?
if Steve was a mass murderer, would you be that shocked?
No.
Right? No, right? Like
No.
if anyone involved with UCSS could kill somebody, walk in the next day like nothing happened, it'd be Director Steve. It'd be Director Steve, sadly.
I think that's fair.
We got 2 announcements, and then we'll dive into the show. First and foremost, we mentioned this yesterday. We just want to reiterate this to you guys again. Starting on March 23rd, so not next Monday, but 2 Mondays, we are changing times here on UCSS from 11 to 1 to 10 to 12. You can see all the information on your screen. The first hour of the show, 10 to 11, will be just on the WKYC app. The second hour will be both on the WKYC app and YouTube, so you'll still be able to catch us on YouTube. We don't have all the information yet. We are still waiting to get a ton of answers to questions that you guys have asked since yesterday that, frankly, I have. I told Zach about it this morning. Zach was unaware of these changes. It is literally happening in warp speed, and we are still trying to figure out specific details to specific answers. We are working on the international app part of this. We found out yesterday that in some areas the KYC app has a couple glitches. KYC was thrilled to learn about that so they can try and fix it. So the app should be available internationally in no time, but we are still waiting to get answers. As soon as we get new information, we will give you guys said information. We are not withholding anything from you, I promise. The QR code you see on the screen will help you download the app. We have put links in the YouTube description for both Android users and iPhone users for the KYC app, and we want to emphasize and re-emphasize the app is completely free. $0, 0 cents. It costs you nothing to download the app. And the beauty of this, guys, is the show isn't changing. The show is still going to be the UCSS that you guys have fallen in love with and continue to support, and we appreciate that support since we launched back in 2022. It's just going to have a different home. So that's the good news.
There's a lot of good news. I mean, the good news is the answer we have is that we're not going anywhere.
Yes. And
that's the
biggest news.
The best news.
Yes.
Yeah, that we're going to be here for a while.
Yes.
It's good.
If you didn't like us, you can't get rid of us that easily. So maybe changing places, but we are going nowhere. And once again, we appreciate all you guys. Genuinely, we appreciate your guys' continued support. You make doing this so much fun. I wouldn't want to have any other job in the world. And if you guys can't be a part of it, then I don't want to do the show. So we are going to find a way to keep the bones and structure of UCSS untouched. It's just going to have a different home. And before we dive into some football news, we're going to do more of this in overtime. Real quick, 30 seconds on Bam Adebayo becoming the second single-game scorer in the history of the NBA with 83 points last night. We're going to dive deeper into overtime, but Zach, thoughts on Bam real quick.
They made it a sham. Right? Good for Bam, and he obviously played great, but the way they went in the fourth quarter, it's a sham. I'm not impressed.
I mean,
off my lawn.
He had 70 points with 6 minutes to go in the game. I mean, the last few were a sham. I get that. It's sad that he broke Kobe's record with a sham. I'm with you there. But, dude, it's 83 freaking points, dude. Come on. I don't care if this is any rec league, whatever it may be. 83 points is just unbelievable.
Yeah. Jason and I did Ultimate Capsule.
Never thought that this guy, Bam Adebayo, who's a good, really good player, very good player, is now in the conversation with Wilt Chamberlain and Kobe Bryant.
If we did a draft, even as early as last week, of the 50 guys we think could break Kobe's record this season,
right?
He wouldn't be on a list of 300. 300.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
My guess today was like 68. Jason asked me where would you draft him, and I was
that's a good number.
I was like 68. I don't know. But he wouldn't be in the top 50, and I don't think he'd even be in the honorable mention list of top 50. His career high before last night was 41 points.
Right, I was going to say
he more than doubled.
There's no way he had even 2 40-point games before last.
His high this season was 32.
So I didn't even see like the highlights or anything. I saw like the end. But like, how many threes did he hit? Any?
Yeah, a couple. But his first quarter, once again, we're going to dive into all this in overtime. His first quarter, he had 30 points, was immaculate.
And the team scored like what, 45 or something?
I don't remember. He
had to be ridiculous. Yeah.
Who was guarding him? Andre Blatch?
Basically, he had 43 at half. The first half of the performance, like the first half of the game, completely ethical.
Sure.
That was as good as Bam Adebayo's ever played.
Dude,
the end, we have some issues with. We'll dive into that.
I don't think that someone could score 83 points if they were playing against the Washington Generals.
I mean,
the Globetrotters. I mean, where they're trying to let you score. It's hard to make that many buckets, dude.
Well, he had 36 free throws,
I know.
which, once again, we'll get to. And Donovan 71 in overtime against the Bulls a couple of years
Still
ago.
made 30 shots.
When every bucket counted. Just there's levels to some of this stuff. But we'll dive into it. Ant's going to put it in the chat because I want to hear what they think about Bam's 83-point performance. But with that, Ant, the Browns made some free agency moves that we're going to discuss after a quick word from our sponsors.
Yeah, I want to remind everybody that you can experience Cleveland Charge basketball at Public Hall this season. Cleveland Charge, the NBA G League affiliate for the Cavaliers, are back in action for their 5th season in Cleveland. Charge alumni like Sam Merrill and Naquan Tomlin and two-way players like Tristan Anaruma show the NBA G League is the home of future stars of the NBA. Get ready. Oh, sorry, the ad fell. Get ready for a magical night as Public Hall transforms into Hogwarts. It's Harry Potter Night, presented by Nuovo on Friday, March 13th at 7. For the first 1,500 fans, receive a Charge scarf. Tickets are on sale now at clevelandcharge.com. It's Harry Potter Night, guys, this Friday. Go check it out.
I'll be there, too, so if you go, come say what's up. Let's talk a little Browns football, though, guys. 2 more moves on the offensive line, 1 signing, 1 re-signing. Tevin Jenkins back in the fold. We still haven't gotten the numbers on the Tevin Jenkins signing. Zach, maybe you've heard anything on the down low about what that is. But Tevin Jenkins is back. And then Elgton Jenkins, not related. We got a lot of questions. Is that his brother? The answer is no, not his brother. But he is a former 2-time All-Pro interior offensive lineman. He signed a 2-year, $24 million deal. $20 million of that guaranteed. Zach, let's start with Elgton first, then get to Tevin. But the Elgton Jenkins signing, I'm a big fan. Are you?
When he's been healthy, he's been good. The Packers moved on because he's not healthy, and he's 30 now. So this is a lot of money for a 30-year-old offensive lineman a week after you gave a lot of money to a 30-year-old offensive lineman in the commitment to Titus Howard. So this is where the Browns are. Right? This is what they had to do. From that standpoint, it's unsurprising. It's necessary. I think if you look at it like the Browns had to do this, we're worried mostly about the Browns, and whatever happens at quarterback, at wide receiver, and filling out the rest of the offense, they need an offensive line to have a chance. It's fine. I don't see them getting really any better from this because a bunch of 30-year-old linemen are walking out the door, which is why you're in this spot. Here's my main takeaway, guys. Drafting Zach Zinter cost this team between $30 and $50 million.
Yep.
Pretty jarring.
Yep. Dustin, thoughts on Elgton Jenkins?
He's one of the most versatile guys you're going to find. He can play like pretty much every position on the offensive line. I think that's important. That's ultimately, I think, why he's here is because he's a guy that you can trust to play center, guard, or tackle if he needs to at times in a pinch, right? So that's about all I know. He's old. The contract is what, 2 years?
224, 20 games.
So 224. So I don't know. You're not locked into this guy forever. It's 2 years. They're still going to draft somebody, I'm sure, in one of the early selections. But I don't know a ton about this guy. I'm not going to say anything crazy about him, but he can play a lot of positions.
I think on the money part, it's important to say this. It's an overpay across the board.
Everyone gets overpaid in free agency.
But it's what you have to do.
Yes.
Right? It's what you pay, and it's what you have to do at this spot. So you're looking at pedigree, what these guys have done. This guy's been in the Pro Bowl twice. As you said, he's played different positions when he's needed to, been called upon, and you're going to need that going forward. So very fluid situation. I think Zion Johnson made a lot of sense. Right, make a commitment to a first-round pedigree. Still 26. He's played as athletic and has only missed 2 games in his career.
Yeah.
So now you get into the older guys. It's risky. You still had to make commitments to them, but it's what you had to do. So again, we'll see where it goes. But in terms of just sensible using money to fill holes that you created, then they're on that track, and we're waiting to see what happens in the receiver room and the quarterback room.
I think it's important too to note that they're trying to fix the middle of the line too. I think that's an area where Shador does no quarterback does, including Shador, who is a pocket passer. Right, you don't want pressure up the middle. It makes things very, very challenging for a guy who wants to be able to sit back there and diagnose. And you have to move, and he's not. He can move a little bit, but he's not the most mobile guy in the world. So it's important for them to do that. I think that they're doing that. And we'll see what happens on the outside of tackle.
Yeah, I think using March resources interior makes sense.
Yes.
Drafting your tackles. And then you have experienced guys who have seen a lot, played in big games, who are going to help basically your 21-year-old tackle or tackles. Because it's still not out of the realm that 2 of these top 40 picks are used on offensive tackles.
No, I wouldn't hate that.
I think this takes guard out of the equation, right?
Yes,
They're not going to take the Penn State kid.
Right.
But I think, at 6 or a trade down, and again at 24 or 40 or 39, excuse me.
Yeah.
Then you're probably taking tackles.
I think the thing to think about here too with these guys that are signing, who we've never heard of, a lot of people have never heard of this guy, is that I hope we're only talking about this guy today. And that's it. Like that they solve it, and then they're pretty quiet because they're playing center and guard, and the season goes by, and you're not having to say, "Oh my God, we have no answer at right guard, and now our center's hurt, and we can't find this." It's like I just hope these guys durability. Jenkins, we signed. What's his name? Tevin Jenkins.
Tevin Jenkins.
Tevin Jenkins. Excuse me. He's a durable player, so hopefully these guys can stay on the field and do a hell of a job. I mean, this kid, Elgton Jenkins.
Yeah.
I want to say Elton John. Elgton Jenkins is. They say I've not studied this guy, but they say he's best at pass protection from the guard position, which is what we need.
Yeah, center last year, but mostly guard and some tackle before that.
Yeah, so when you look at his overall career, and I'm not going to pretend to be an offensive line.
Right,
I told you, I played 1 year of football in my life. I played left tackle. I got pancaked.
How'd that go?
It was second grade. I blocked for Deshaun Moreno and Donald Brown, 2 former NFL running backs, and they ran away from me every time because I got pancaked every time. I'm not going to pretend to be an offensive line guru, but I know enough people online who have opinions I trust on offensive line to come in today with a little bit of insight on Elgton Jenkins. All-pro, not just Pro Bowl, but all-pro caliber guard, multiple occasions in Green Bay. Was that highly thought of as a guard? Got moved to center out of necessity last year. Play took a step back, then suffers a fractured leg. He failed his physical last week in Green Bay, which is important to notice. He did break his leg last season. That's what ended the season. Failed a physical, but if Andrew Berry felt comfortable giving him $20 million guaranteed over 2 years, to me that says the Cleveland doctors have signed off that he's going to be able to progress, be ready for the season. So I'm just going to trust the doctors in Berea. I have no inside insight. I do know with Elgton Jenkins, in 7 NFL seasons, he's given up 9 sacks. That's it. 9. You can count on 2 hands. You don't need your toes.
It's crazy.
How many sacks from the interior did the Browns allow last year?
9 per game.
It feels like I need 2 hands, 2 feet, Zach's 2 hands, Zach's 2 feet, Anthony, Steve, and Dustin to get in there. That's an upgrade. Yeah. Whether you play him at guard, whether you play him at center, I think it gives you versatility now. Zion Johnson is only playing guard. Tevin Jenkins has played both guard and tackle. Elgton Jenkins has played center and guard. Titus Howard has played right tackle, left guard, right guard. He's even had a few snaps at center at some point. Luke Whippler, I'm not sure what his status is moving forward, his recovery from injury. But Andrew Berry now has put together an offensive line that you can mix and match to get your best 5 on the field. And most importantly, and I guess this is my grand conclusion to all this, since Andrew Berry's been the general manager of the Browns, there has not been a worse drafter of offensive linemen in football. They have 0 starting caliber offensive linemen that they've drafted themselves in 6 years under Andrew Berry. Maybe the worst of all time.
Yeah.
So if you can't draft them, go out and sign them like they did. And I cannot applaud Andrew Berry enough for addressing a need in his own assessment process.
Yeah.
I can't figure out who's going to be a successful lineman in the draft. Let me go pay and overpay because you have to for these guys.
Yeah.
Bring them in and solidify the second most important position on the football field.
Well, this is what this organization loves, to be applauded for doing what they have to do, because they have this pile of money and nothing but holes that they've created. Not drafting an offensive lineman last year, knowing this was coming, was absolute malpractice.
Egregious.
And that's why they're spending these piles of money on older linemen. That being said, Elgton Jenkins at center, the other Jenkins at guard, Zion Johnson at guard, you've upgraded.
Absolutely.
Right? Titus Howard at right tackle, you've upgraded. So you still have options with guys you're bringing back. DeJuan Jones is under contract for 1 more year. Luke Whippler's under contract for 1 more year. He's probably a backup center, right? That's where his value is. You have Leviston, who's under contract for 2 more years, who could potentially move inside, can continue to develop. You had 2 more tackles. You look for another utility offensive lineman down the road. Now your group, at least on paper, is much better. You have to develop that group. You have to get that cohesion. But I think that if you want to look at it a positive, Mike, like, we're not worried so much about who the 5 are right now, because 17 games is a long time. But when you say from a week ago, if you had to play a game, what's your 5
Who
versus the
at?
5 right now?
Yeah.
It's upgraded 100 times.
Yeah.
And I made that graphic.
But again, it's simple stuff, and they want applauded for it. You can't do that.
Right.
They're
doing what they did is what
doing
good.
what they had to do.
Well, and don't you think they're doing what like most good teams do? Is like, this is how you rebuild your offensive line if it's that poor. I think it's tough.
I would disagree. I would say most teams build it through the draft.
Well, the Browns can't draft offensive
This is
line.
what
They don't know
Houston
how.
has done.
They don't
Houston
know
gave
how.
Cam Robinson $12 million last year. He immediately got benched. They shipped him to the Browns.
Yes.
They need to get younger this year. What do? They ship Titus Howard out. The Browns say, we'll take him. We'll extend him.
They did sign Braden Smith, who's not a young chicken either.
And this is not just a Browns fan. This is what fans do. They see a guy get acquired in March, and they immediately say, he's better. He's so much better. We're off and racing. Well, why is that team getting rid of him? Why are the Chargers, who came in with top 10 in cap space, not re-signing a 26-year-old guard?
You got to wonder.
All that stuff is fair. I also know the Browns' offensive line in Week 18 of last season was an absolute atrocity.
Comically bad. And it gave Shedeur no chance over the last month.
And today, and you can see the difference. That's the Week 18 starting offensive line for the Browns versus the projected, and I put a rookie at left tackle just because I'm assuming that'll be a rookie at this point.
Yes.
It is a night and day upgrade. Is it great? We'll find out. Will these guys be able to stay healthy? They all individually have their concerns. We were talking about Zion Johnson. I got a buddy who works for NFL Research who's a Chargers fan who said the dude hasn't blocked a single stunt in 4 years with the Chargers. Like, he has his concerns. Tevin Jenkins, even when he played last year, wasn't stellar. Elgton Jenkins wasn't as good at center as he was at left guard. Coming off, they all have concerns. Titus Howard's old. Like, they all have concerns, but it is a major upgrade. And when I look at free agency, Zach, there are certain positions I think make sense to spend money in free agency at. And it's interior offensive linemen, linebackers, and safeties. You can get pretty good players. You're going to have to overpay because that's the free agent tax you pay. Mm-hmm. But you can get those guys without completely breaking the bank like you did for an Alec Pierce.
Sure.
$30 million
It's just much cheaper to draft him in rounds 3 through 5.
And I'm not letting Andrew Berry off the hook for that. I mean when I say I think he might be the worst offensive lineman drafter in the history of the NFL. 0 starting offensive linemen in 6 drafts is unfathomable considering.
Yeah, I mean, I think DeJuan has been a starting quality player, but he's ended all 3 of his seasons on IR.
And Jed Wills did start, but that was a top 10 pick that he wasn't top 10 pick.
Who his best was a league average player.
But look what the Bears did last year. And I'm not saying that it's completely apples to apples, but they needed to revamp their offensive line.
Sure.
They drafted Ozzie Trapula, who turned out to be a really good left tackle, traded for Tooney, signed Dahlman. Dahlman's now retired. But that offensive line turned around like that.
Yeah, I would caution you to say that the tackle did not start playing until week 8 because it's hard for 21-year-olds to come in this league.
But
again, that's why
that's the formula.
That's how you can justify
the
adding the experience and the money you have to pay for interior because they're going to have to bring them along. They're going to have to coach them up, right? Like I don't care if it's Freeling, I don't care if it's Fano and you're moving him back to the left. I don't care if it's receiver then Caleb Williams. Like these guys are young. And it's going to be a huge adjustment, and you're drafting a left tackle. So you're not really asking him to be Joe Thomas, certainly not right away. You're asking him to be better than Jed Wills over time, but you're taking a risk when you're putting a left tackle
100%. 100%.
A rookie left tackle.
I'm just laughing because you called him Elgin again.
I did?
You're going to call him 7 different names.
Yeah, Nate, listen.
You're not.
Names are not my thing.
You have strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
This is not a strength.
I'm going to draw up something on the telestrator when
you've got that's a strength.
Strength.
Yeah.
Names, pronunciation, spelling, Spanish accents, not a strength.
I would say weakness.
Absolutely be a pro and a con. That's a con. That is not on the Mike Lucas scouting report. Dustin, when you look at what the Bears did last year and how they were able to turn the offensive line around, and knowing the Browns had money to spend, they've only invested in the offensive line thus far. Do you think it's been the right approach for Andrew Berry and this team in free agency it's through the 2 days that we can actually evaluate?
It's been the right approach because the offensive line was so bad last year. You had no choice. If you're going to give Shedeur any chance to show that he's got something, they got to give him a chance to have some protection, right? Now, the Bears also were trying to protect their prized possession, which is their stud quarterback, and we saw what a difference that made. I mean, they protected him, and all of a sudden, he could ball. And I don't know that our quarterback's going to be like Caleb, but we'll see. We'll see. At least they're doing the best they can because it was so bad. And, Bitonio's going to retire. And, that guy's been playing for 27 years. And we'll talk about if he's going to go to the Hall of Fame and all that stuff. Right. But you got to replace – in the last, 5 or so years, you're going to have to replace 2 potential Hall of Famers on the offensive line. And the team still hasn't won a damn anything in the postseason. So
money's money, and the Browns spend it like it doesn't matter.
They don't care.
What this comes down to is if we get decent play and decent leadership, and one of these guys is a slightly above average starter at his position, whatever that ends up being for 2 years, then it's kind of graded as a hit.
I would say that left tackle is the toughest spot to play on the offensive line. You can make arguments that center is very important, but if you're drafting a rookie and you're going to have him start there, you hit on it. Those veterans can help that kid develop. If you need him to be a starter from day one, think about Joel Bitonio came in with Joe Thomas.
Yeah.
and got to learn from that dude every day.
Every snap of his first 4 years was with Joe Thomas
Next
next
to
to him until midseason.
Yeah.
For the first 3.5 years. You
Yep.
know how many left tackles played after that? How many other guys he played next to?
I don't know, 17.
In Joel's career.
If the line
It's a
was,
decent guess.
Do you know the number?
I do know the number.
if the
Is
line was
it-
set at
oh, sorry.
12 and a half, I take the over.
And you'd be right. There were 15. One of them was Bitonio himself. So over the last 9 years of his career,
That's
assuming
nuts.
he's done, he played next to 14 different left
That
tackles.
is
And it's a wide variety. It's high draft picks. It's low draft picks. It's Greg Robinson, who went to prison. It's Desmond Harrison, who was here for 6 weeks.
Went to prison.
Right? It's
Yeah.
Spencer Drango was first up when Joe
Jeez.
went down and they went to Europe. Like, it's a long, long
That's
list.
nuts.
I mean, just the playoff year, it was 3 guys.
Are we sure, by the way, Elgton, said it right?
Elton?
Elton Jenkins
Yeah, just the G is silent.
is going to play center?
We're not sure. No. Because Tevin Jenkins could be brought back to be the 6th offensive lineman. And then the center could be either Whippler or a draft pick.
Okay.
So we're not sure on that. When you study what he did in Green Bay, his best years were at guard. But he thought that he could raise his value, knowing he wanted more guarantees from the Packers that they weren't willing to give him by going to center. Again, Packers had all sorts of guys that they had to move around because they kept having injuries, and they lost him in November. And the line was never the same after that. So this guy has been a good player.
Yeah.
He's just got to be healthy, and the Packers were ready to move on. A year they're trying to win the Super Bowl, and a year after they had a mess with injuries, it just kind of says, why wouldn't
And he failed his physical in Green Bay.
Well,
which
yeah,
is
I
what-
would say that about this, though. That is a way out. He's coming off an injury they knew he wasn't. They can
Okay.
void the contract with
There you
that. You're right. The Browns aren't bringing him in without insurance that he's right on track, but that's Green Bay's way out. I don't think it goes on the transaction sheet as waived failed physical, but I don't think it was like, oh my gosh, he's not healthy. I think for months they
Okay.
knew
Well,
this is our out.
Later in the show, we're going to talk about Max Crosby's failed physical and the ramifications and ripple effects
Yeah.
of that deal. Last thing on the offensive line, before we move on and talk Bitonio, because he obviously is not a name we've mentioned
Yeah.
as a possible offensive lineman for the Browns next year. And Dustin, when you look at whether it's Jenkins and Johnson, I had a point. I forgot a point to go back. Jason has sat in this chair and told us when DeJuan Jones was starting out at right tackle and then at left tackle, Bitonio and Teller were kind of helping him literally each and every play with the assignments. Having a guy like Zion Johnson and a Jenkins and a Titus Howard on the opposite has to be as good of a
I played next to
mentorship as
Mike
possible.
Doss for my first 2 years at Ohio State. And I had no business probably being a starting cornerback in the Big Ten as a freshman and as a sophomore. And that dude told me everything I needed to know before every play. He made me look good. Made me look good. And it also gave me confidence, too, because I knew this guy had my back and he was going to make sure he'd make me right. And so I think that's such a great point with these veterans on that offensive line to put them next to the young guy, because it's not like you're babysitting him, but you're kind of right there.
Yeah.
You're kind of holding his hand a little bit.
And it has to help with a young quarterback, too, just having that much experience in front of you to help make some of the offensive line calls. And just not saying that one of the Browns quarterbacks can't do that.
Yeah.
Just takes part of the responsibility off their shoulders.
I think it's both hilarious and telling that you said I have no idea what the answer is for the number of left tackles, but I'll confidently say it's over 12 and a half, and it was over 12 and a half. So, yeah, that's what it is. So much of offensive line is communication and cohesion, right? Like, the best lines are usually the ones that stay together. And the Browns in this window, they had this group stay together. It just happened to all get old, and all their contracts expired at the same time, and they somehow didn't draft one last year. So they're counting on these guys. Really the worst thing they did was think that last year's left tackle plan, DeJuan Jones and Cornelius Lucas, had any chance at all. Right? Like, gambling on these guys you've already invested in, just staying healthy for one more season, you kind of had to do that. But you could have done more at left tackle. Yeah. So this year we're assuming that pick 6 or a trade down is going to be used on a left tackle, and that guy's going to be counted on to be your left tackle for 5 years minimum.
Are we officially writing the book on Zach Zinter, that there's no salvaging the former third-round pick's career?
I think that they've shown that by bringing back a guy that played in front of him, even in the season finale last year, which was an evaluation game, and the money they've spent on older players who could all play that position. I think that they've answered that for us.
That's bad. All right, Ant, let's talk about a guard who most likely will not be back in a Browns uniform next year.
Yeah, guys, and before we do, change is scary, trust me, I know, but no matter where we change to, we will always be over on our social media channels. So go take a look over there on X, Instagram, and TikTok. We're always posting either behind-the-scenes stuff, highlights from the show, or updates on when we might go live for breaking news, especially right now during Browns free agency. So if you want to keep up with the latest on WKYC and UCSS, go follow us over there on social media.
All right, guys, yesterday was the deadline for Joel Bitonio to figure out his future, and I'm assuming, Zach, no word means not good news for anyone wanting Joel to return. At this point, I feel like we have to assume he's retiring because we haven't had any news, and we certainly would have heard news if he was coming back.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the way to read it, right? That combined with the Browns' actions,
Browns' moves,
the money they've put in. So I think it was always leaning that way. I don't think Joel took any part of this decision lightly. I have not spoken to him this offseason, but last offseason I did speak to him, and he felt like he was reconsidering. He felt like he came out of 24 thinking that he wanted to play, and then he wasn't so sure, and he came back. This year, I think he was always leaning towards retirement, and I think what makes it easier is all his friends are leaving, all the guys that he's done with, right? So this is a new thing here. So he will be remembered and should be remembered as a great Cleveland Brown. The numbers back that up in terms of the games played and the durability.
He's a Ring of Honor guy, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, the Hall of Fame is a different story. We can discuss that, but I mean, he's definitely going to be remembered as an all-time great Cleveland Brown. All-time great.
When Joe Thomas went in the Hall of Fame, I was interviewing him, and I said, let me ask you a question while I got you about Joel. And he said, let me tell you about the Hall of Fame. He said, there are not many guards that have ever walked this planet that have Joel's combination of power and athleticism. He said, so Joel belongs in the Hall of Fame someday.
He would know.
And that's a pretty good source. Now, is it a biased source? Sure, but that's a pretty good source.
The list of guards in the Hall of Fame, I looked it up. It's the who's who in the history of football, and as a guard to make it to Canton feels damn near impossible.
And most of them were like 8 or 9 time All-Pros,
Yes.
teams that always played in the Super Bowl or in the conference championship game. It's stacked against Joel as far as making the Hall of Fame. There's no doubt about it.
The odd, and once again, offensive line play, I trust the Joe Thomases of the world way more than I trust, frankly, with all due respect, all of us.
Sure.
They know the ins and outs, the what you can, what you can't do, what you can get away with, what makes one guy slightly better than another. Joel versus, Zach Martin, for example, was, 2 of the best guards in football for 10 years. One of them probably gets in, one of them doesn't. But I do know this. Over his course in Cleveland, since he was drafted in 2014, the list of offensive linemen that were more consistent and better than Joel Bitonio is incredibly short.
For sure.
5 All-Pro selections, 7 Pro Bowls. I don't really care about the Pro Bowls, but the 5 All-Pro selections, 2 first-team selections, 3 second-team selections was the peak of durability. I mean, you guys have been here long. I mean, I went through his Pro Football Reference page.
Yeah.
Almost never missed games, and more important than anything else, when Joel was on the field, even to the end of his career, obviously play declined slightly, you knew exactly what you were getting.
Let me speak to the durability.
Exactly.
2 of his first 3 years ended with injury. In his last 9 years, how many games he missed by injury?
I would say
3.
3, yeah.
One.
1
in 9 years. So they kept extending him and kept working. And the other thing, too, is think about all the scheme changes, all the coordinator changes. We talked about the left tackle changes. We haven't talked about the quarterback changes because we'll be here till way past the time that we need to be here, right? But he produced. Some guys are just great fits in certain schemes, in certain systems with a certain guy next to him. Joel was consistently good, even great.
And on top of that, you know how hard it is to be great on a bad team in a bad organization and to stay positive and to have a positive mental approach with your teammates and be a good teammate and have a revolving door of guys playing next to you and to not get frustrated. And by the way, he plays a position on offensive line where it's you're required to play well. You have to have help from your buddies. And he hasn't had lately a lot of guys around him that's been stable. So it just speaks to everything about the guy is steady Eddie. Not even, it's beyond steady Eddie because he's elite at what he does. Yeah. And what's the good line Tress always says? The hallmark of excellence is consistency and performance. Dude is consistent as a mother every day.
In this area was Nick Chubb and Joel, right? Because Nick Chubb came in after Joe had retired. It's those guys who just showed up, low maintenance, superstars, didn't want the extra shine, didn't get it. For whatever reason, Chubb got it a little bit, right? But Joel was a guard on a bad team, and he kept producing. And so the fact that he will be a Hall of Fame finalist someday, probably not an inductee, says it all, but he's certainly a Cleveland Browns Ring of Honor guy, certainly an all-time, every time he comes back, honor. I don't think they'll retire his jersey. There's a lot that goes into that in the NFL, but he's at the top of a very short list of guys you would consider, and he will, like I said, in this era of Cleveland Browns football, and he played more than a decade at guard at a high level.
It's hard to do.
Hard to do.
And he checks all the boxes. When, you look at guard in particular, there are certain positions in football where you want guys that have a little more swag, a little more charisma. You don't. To your point,
They're in the dirt, dude.
you don't want to hear their names. The only time you're hearing their name on Sunday is 98 out of 100 instances when something bad happens.
Right.
A holding call,
false start,
a legal procedure. Bitonio became a household name in Cleveland at a position that you never want to hear from.
Yeah.
Frankly, I don't want my guards really like, talking to the media. Not because they're some of the smartest guys in football, but I want them to be innocuous. I don't want them to be unknowns. I don't want their faces plastered all around. Yeah. When I think of the Browns since I've been here, and we started this show in May of 2022. We're coming up on 4 years here. Bitonio's been the stalwart of Cleveland. It's Miles, Bitonio, and Njoku's now gone, but those were the three that had, and Denzel if you want to include him, but he slightly different position, not as plastered, but I drive past the stadium every day to work, and it's Bitonio's face on the first platform you see. Yeah. And it's Bitonio who they've trotted out as kind of the voice of reason in many occasions. And he has been the epitome.
Now, part of that is their mess at quarterback.
Once again, you can put circumstances on anything you want.
No, well, right.
But he's become the face of the offense, and I can't remember a time ever in football where the offensive left guard has essentially been the face of a team.
Well, I'll give you this to back that up, though. Amid a decade of horrendous drafting, and this draft in particular, you know who the first pick was of Joel Bitonio's draft for the Browns? Justin Gilbert. Epic disaster. You know who the second pick was of Joel Bitonio's draft? John Paul Manziel.
Yeah.
Epic disaster. Oh, by the way, in the second round, they got this rock-solid guy who's just one of the best to do it at his position in a long, long time.
From Nevada.
Left tackle at Nevada. Comes in, plays guard.
Played in the freaking Mountain West, and he just, now he's
nuts.
All-timer.
In terms of the Ring of Honor, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we've gotten 36 super chats in the last 2 years, the fact that Bernie Kosar is not in the Ring of Honor. And is there a process for the Browns inducting names into the Ring of Honor that I'm not familiar with?
Okay, the Browns don't have something called the Ring of Honor. Okay. The Browns have what's called the Legends class, and Bernie Kosar absolutely is in it. The ring, the names that are there are the Hall of Famers. Okay.
So Browns Hall of Famers.
Browns Hall of Famers go there, and then Joe has a special one for his snap streak.
Yeah.
Is it Hall of Famers that are in Canton that play for the Browns? They're like Browns specific.
No.
Pro
Football
Hall of Famers. But the Browns have a Legends class, and Bernie absolutely is in
Lou Groza, Jim Brown.
That's great to know.
That's a semantics thing.
We have had many super chats, and I know Bull lost his mind one day over Bernie not being in there. That makes a lot more sense.
That's the first time.
It makes.
I want to. So it was super awkward when the Browns came back, right? Because they were rushed back, and they weren't good. And it was like, this was rushed, and it's because they were so good back then, and everybody had all these hard feelings because none of the guys were, first of all, the team wasn't good at that, but none of the guys were involved, and it was a lot of going on. So one of the things they tried to do to bridge that gap was establish the Legends class, and the Hall of Famers automatically went in that.
Okay.
But then they started the Legends class of 3 or 4 a year, and then they cut it to 2 just to space it out. And so Bernie absolutely is part of that group. So what is it, 12 or 13 Hall of Famers that the Browns have? Joe was 13.
I'll trust
I
you.
feel like I should know that.
You know, and obviously Joe's the only one from the new era, and a lot of them are from way, way back because it's Paul Brown, it's Jim Brown.
That makes a lot more sense.
Whatever. But the Legends class was established, I want to say, in like 2004 to 2006 range, and now most years only one player is getting put in it, sometimes 2. But, Jim Donovan was inducted. Phil Dawson was inducted.
Joel Bitonio.
Yeah, Joel Bitonio, as soon as he's eligible, will be inducted.
Is there a waiting period like the Hall of Fame?
There's not. So if they want to do it this year.
I would like to see Joel Bitonio smashing guitar this year. Like on Joel Bitonio Day against, who's a team they can run against? I don't know. Whatever team with this new established offensive line honoring 75, who was the epitome of what you'd want a franchise pillar to be from the interior of the offensive line. So Joel, if this is it, thank you for everything, man.
No, as someone there on a near daily basis, this is absolutely the epitome of
18 Hall of
professionalism.
Famers.
18, okay.
18.
But Joel, absolutely the epitome of professionalism on and off the field, in the meeting room. You know, as he got older, he became the voice and kind of relaying from the coach down. But even just because you're an older player doesn't mean, like, you have to earn that respect in the locker room. Because as he got older, the guys got younger.
Right.
But they all respected the hell out of Joel Bitonio, I can tell you that.
Before we move on to the next topic, do you have any Joel stories over the last decade, however long you've been covering the Browns?
That's a good one.
I'd tell you, we had a great conversation with him one time. I was doing this stupid article in the offseason about who are the best basketball players. Like if there was a pickup basketball game, who you take it, right? And obviously Myles Garrett. Sure. But Joel was telling me about how he grew up wanting to be a basketball player, and actually was a high school basketball player.
But he was really good, too.
Right. The problem was he was against all these guys at the time that were phenomenal, and he was a 6'2.5", big guy, but he was good at his job. So I was like, did you ever think? And he goes, well, actually, the first sport I ever played was roller hockey. And I thought, and he goes, yeah, trust me, I was a big kid, and I was stocky, and I was strong, and I think I was taken out of roller hockey because they were afraid I was going to maim someone. He's like, so I brought that mentality with me, playing football and basketball, to do it, and just super athlete, super nice, just perfect. Like the whole organization, every layer of the organization will miss him the second this becomes official.
We're gonna do a segment when the Cavs come up about setting screens the right way, and Joel Bitonio would set a mean screen. Yes. Joel Bitonio, James Harden pick and roll, if Bitonio had any finishing ability and was like 8 inches taller, would be
I think he averaged 8 or 10 in high school at a pretty prominent Southern California program. Legit ball.
He's a legit. I mean, he's an elite athlete.
He is an elite athlete.
To move into his side, doesn't surprise me. DeJuan Jones was also a really good basketball player back in the day. He's supersized, but
he was a basketball recruit
Yeah.
until football came along.
Most offensive linemen, most defensive, all these guys played hoops growing up and and they were really good in high school because you have to be. They're ridiculous elite athletes. Because they're 300 pounds doesn't mean that they can't dominate on the court.
Quentin Nelson, the guard for the Colts, grew up 2 towns from where I grew up in Jersey. Played against my little brother in high school. My brother still has a crick in his neck from running into a Quentin Nelson screen in a high school summer league game.
Yeah. Remember the Mekhi Becton highlights from a few drafts ago?
Yeah.
It's just didn't look real.
Nuts. All right, Joel, thank you for everything. Ant, let's do a read, and then we'll talk a little Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, Mike, you did an Ultimate Cavs show this morning with Jason. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
We did. We recorded this morning. We talked a little bit about the Mobley Harden stuff that we're going to redo in a few minutes with some visuals, which will make the conversation even better. We also talked about how each role player on the Cavs has a specific thing they need to prove over the last 20 games in the season to lock in a spot in the playoff rotation. So you can find that on our YouTube page. Give it a like, and we appreciate all the extra support. All right, yesterday, during the free agency frenzy on the Pat McAfee show, Adam Schefter was joining the program, and the Browns came up, and Schefter gave a little, we'll call it insight into the Browns quarterback situation. Pat asked him what's going on with the Browns, and this is how they answered.
What's Cleveland doing?
Cleveland. That's it.
Cleveland.
Okay. Shador Sanders.
Pro Bowler.
They have Deshaun Watson. And
right.
by the way, let me say this. There are people out there, and we'll see how it unfolds, but there are people out there who believe that Deshaun Watson could very well be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
I saw him doing running back drills.
He's getting
I saw him
paid.
doing
He's
running
walking
back
fast.
drills.
He's getting paid.
He's definitely getting paid, and I do appreciate the fact that he's like, you know what, I will give this thing a go again that's paying me $230 million guaranteed. Let's go ahead and try this out. Because at one point, when Deshaun Watson was playing good football, boy, it was awesome football to watch.
Yeah.
We were down there in the AFC South watching when he was with the Texans. There was a time where J.J. Watt was walking off the field after the last game of the season, and he looks at Deshaun Watson. He goes, "So sorry we wasted one of your years, man." There was a time where this guy was being described as the Michael Jordan of football.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, a lot happened. Lot happened off the field. A lot happened on the field. It was a very long, dramatic, very serious and intense stuff that took place. So mentally, was he ever going to be able to get back to being a quarterback, especially whenever you're sitting on super satin sheets, the most satin sheets in the history of NFL with your fully $230 million guarantee? Will he ever be able to get back to that? We hadn't seen it. I mean, we hadn't seen it. We didn't expect it. That would have been the mental toughness level to be able to get back to being elite QB while getting paid as much as you have without playing for as long as you had, and with all the work that it takes, especially going to a different. It's like, I thought that was going to be tough to see him play football after he took that long off, but maybe he's hit a point in life. One last go here. One last time to lead a team. And the Cleveland Browns are a place that do not have a set-up quarterback, so maybe he is able to rewrite the end of his football story, his football life, and maybe that happens with the Cleveland Browns.
So Zach Schefter started that clip saying there are still people who believe it could be Deshaun Watson. They showed him doing running back drills, which I think is a very apt way to put what he was doing in those particular set of circumstances. But Zach, you talk to people in Berea. Is there a belief that maybe Deshaun could be the guy at some point again, or Is that book been completely written?
I was told earlier this week, it's pretty much similar thing, that I am dead wrong and that there is a real belief that Deshaun Watson can play well if he's called upon to be the starting quarterback. I think that is ridiculous. I think that is ignoring the truth. And I think anyone buying that for 1 second, including buying this propaganda video, is just getting fooled. Deshaun Watson is the main reason the Browns are in the spot that they're in, right? And he would have to play so well even if he plays. And there's zero evidence that he could do that. He's not healthy. He has not been effective. He has never been a leader of this team. He has done nothing but fail the Cleveland Browns over and over again. To go back to this dance and expect him to stay healthy, play well, and play really well to get a young team forward, and then his contract is up, it's a ridiculous thought, and would be a complete failure to even explore it. It's a last resort only. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the Browns are going to be wrong, and it would be failing Shador. It'd be failing the rest of the system to intentionally put Deshaun Watson out there.
Week 1 or ever?
Ever, but mostly week 1.
Okay. I mean, you said you know the team as well as anybody, and I couldn't agree more with you. But we all know this team. We know the organization.
When you apply logic, it's real trouble.
Right. So when you apply logic to something, do the opposite. That's what the Browns will do. And with that being said, I would not be surprised if he runs out there week 1, nor would you.
No.
Nor would you. So get ready.
Yeah, I think week 1 is probably not going to happen. We're going to see who they add and how they go about it. But it doesn't. Don't May and June have to be for Shador and whatever other young player are added in there?
I'm not Todd Monken. I don't know.
No, right. You're not. But if I'm Todd Monken and I say I can't possibly, I've waited my whole life for this, I can't possibly go in with just Shador and Deshaun because I need a fallback. I need to get multiple guys ready. We have to learn. We're building the whole offense. We're building a whole team, a whole program here. But the guy has not been available, has not been effective, was given the keys to the kingdom and the kingdom crashed, has not played football in 23 months by the time the season starts. And it was not playing at a high level or healthy when he was. Mm-hmm. So why in the world would you think that it's going to change now? And why would anybody base that upon a few videos? Of course he's working out. He's coming back from major injury. Good for him. Yeah. But the money is guaranteed, and he's only on this roster because they could not afford to cut him. The Deshaun Watson trade sank the Cleveland Browns. It is absolutely unbelievable that this front office remains employed because it did the Deshaun Watson trade. And to think you're going to play him and that's going to help you going forward, it's absolutely a ridiculous thought.
I would just tell him he's on paid vacation, man.
Exactly.
I do think it's not a coincidence that people are starting to spread the fact, and like you said, you heard from someone in Berea that Schefter's heard it. I know Rappaport's mentioned it. I think Breer or Pelissaro, one of the, it's being spread around. People in Berea are pushing that narrative that there is a chance Deshaun Watson could be the starter again. That is not fake news. They are pushing that narrative. I mean, Zach, you just told us that you talked to someone who's pushing that. Will it happen? I'm highly skeptical.
Do you think that is the Browns on purpose putting stuff out there just to test the waters and see what people, how it would be received if they put him out there again?
Could be. Let me clarify. I was told not that they think that he'd be the week 1 starter, but there is a strong belief that he could play well if needed. Meaning that somebody else is playing one.
Yeah.
But the second thing, Dustin, let's go back to December. There was a Saturday night. It was right before Ohio State and Indiana played in the Big Ten title game. And they used these national insiders, propaganda guys, to push out and say Deshaun's going to be on the team next year. The Browns had a game the next day. They did not use that platform to say we can't wait to see Shador play. They did not use that platform to say we're really excited about Shador. So we're just going to start to let it leak out now, the bad news. We've gone over the numbers. We can't afford to cut them.
The narrative is being pushed. There's no...
Yeah,
what Schefter
it's being nudged.
Yeah.
Pushed is, but nudged. It's certainly being nudged. Yeah.
What Schefter said yesterday is no coincidence. I guess is what I'm trying to say. It is not a coincidence that all these guys, all of a sudden, are having similar whispers in their ear that at least it's a possibility. Mm-hmm. Do I think it's gonna happen? No.
Right.
When we've seen Deshaun play in Cleveland, he hasn't been that good. He's coming off multiple Achilles injuries, a shoulder injury that no quarterback has really ever come back from. There's no track record of it. Zach, you were the one who told us that when he was throwing in camp before the Achilles, that it didn't look like an NFL quarterback. So now with 2 torn Achilles and with a torn shoulder, it's going to look better. I don't know. Bull said it best when he was in this chair a couple weeks ago. If Deshaun somehow does play for whatever reason, whether it's injuries, whether he wins a starting job, it's good for the Browns because winning simply is good for the Browns at this point. Any kind of winning is good for the Browns. You could deal with the decision of what do you do with them later? Do you resign?
Yeah.
All that's down the road. I'm in the business right now of I want to see the Browns be a competitive football team. That's what I personally want.
Yeah.
So if Deshaun is the guy that helps them get there, then so be it. But I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's like the reality of what's going to happen. But I'm also not surprised that we're hearing more and more of these whispers now from certain voices that sometimes are used to push a certain agenda.
Yeah, I've done the strong case against, and that's reality. And as Dustin acknowledged, the Browns don't often live in reality. So let's do the counter argument, right? The Browns are spending big to just stabilize the offensive line because that was clearly the glaring weakness, right? Now they have bottom of the league wide receiver group and bottom of the league quarterback group. But the most glaring weakness, and the only way those other groups get better, is to have a little protection there. Right? They're reinvesting in this defense. They lost Devin Bush, but every other guy is back, right?
And they signed Quincy Williams.
So they think they fired the coach because they know they wasted a darn near elite defense last year, and they think they should have won more games. They think there should be young development, and they think they're going to have better young player development, and they think they're going to have another good draft. So in that regard, if you think that Deshaun could give you solid play, that he is healthy, he should be all of these things, and that if it doesn't work for whatever reason with Shedeur or whomever else the other option is, that this guy could come in and give you baseline solid play and give you a chance. On paper, I'll buy that.
It makes sense.
It goes against everything I've seen. It goes against all logic and big picture thinking, right? And again, it mostly just goes against everything we've seen for years before you even start adding up the numbers. That this deal sunk you. This deal put you to where you are, to where you're going out and overpaying these old linemen because your other linemen were already. The Browns couldn't cut guys last year because they owed them so much money because they had pushed so much money forward to be good in 24 and 25 for Deshaun Watson. He started 7 games in 24. He did not play in 25.
It's all facts. All facts.
I also don't know how it's received in the locker room. I mean, I'm not saying that the guys don't like him. I'm sure that they like Deshaun Watson, and you know how locker rooms are. You're around your peers. Like they're not thinking like we are thinking as fans or members of the media. They think a little differently because they're in the trenches with those guys. So I don't think it would be that bad with the locker room. Now he'd have to play well, which is also a scary thing for the Browns.
Sure, because like I said, it's not
double-edged
just
sword.
It's not just 500 ball. Where does that get you?
I mean, this is.
Right? I mean, unless you can win the division at 8 and 9, and he can somehow stay healthy.
I mean, he would have to. I mean, what would you do what if he threw for 5,000 yards this year?
He had.
It's impossible, I know, but
he had the season that we thought when they traded for Deshaun Watson.
He's the Houston 5,000-yard guy.
Yes.
I mean, that's not reality.
I know it's not. I know.
Especially with Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman.
I know, but the Browns don't live in reality, so I'm just like having a fun hypothetical.
Okay, all right, so
everyone's talking about the worst trade ever, blah, 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 blah. What if the guy balled this year, and then you're like, crap, man, we got to extend this guy now.
If they finally found their quarterback, it's a good thing then. If you find your quarterback.
But I'm just, this would be 1 year.
It's one more reason it's not even worth entertaining.
Exactly.
If this was your first-round quarterback and he was 24 years old and he had 2 injury-riddled years or had struggled, but you were still invested in him at a low price and you still were riding him, this ship's already sunk, right? Yeah. You're not floating this down the 3 rivers to go play in Heinz Field, right? You're digging it out of the bottom of the worst of the 3 rivers and saying, like, it's not reality. You have to play the rookie. So if Shedeur gets injured or completely fails, if there's just not another option, and you have to play this. But at that point, he has to play so well, because why wouldn't you then be playing another young player who could be in your plans?
Everything you're saying makes perfect sense. Like, there's no disagree. Shedeur should start over Deshaun Watson if those are the 2 options. I'd much rather see Shedeur get we talked about Shedeur not getting reps last year.
Right.
I want Shedeur to get all the reps this summer if it's him versus Deshaun Watson. I don't think there's any, based on what we've seen from Deshaun, like the ceiling is capped. The ceiling's the floor. Yeah. And it's that floor. It's not the expression of like the ceiling's the floor because the ceiling is super high. No, the floor is, at this point, the ceiling based off what we've seen from Deshaun Watson. They paid $230 million for 19 touchdowns since he's been here.
Let me lay out the timeline. So the Browns are going to report in about 4 weeks for the optional offseason program. But when you have a new coach, it's really not optional unless you should be there. Yes. You just run the organization to start with, right? So they're going to have 6-ish weeks of individual workouts, early offensive implementation, meetings, just everybody getting on the same page, right? Dustin verbiage, installation, what works for you, what is totally foreign here. Then you get out and you have a little bit of on-field work, not competitive, but one-on-one, throwing to your receivers, putting in this new concept. What did it used to be called? Why did we not complete it? Then you're going to get about 10 or 12 practices over the course of a month, minicamp stuff, that's basically simulating real practice, but it's very introductory. It's installation. It's no contact to anyone. That sets you up for 5 weeks of training camp to get ready to play games. So probably this organization is on the track that this is for the future. We all know that, right? You got to plug some holes and overpay to do that. But this is about the future. But every time that you're taking these valuable reps away in May, June, July, August from a young player, if you have any hope at all for this young player, even in September, right? And again, the fact that they might start 1-5 clouds everything, because is it the plan or not? But like, where in this plan is a 30-year-old, oft-injured, completely failed quarterback make you better? Unless he plays at an exceptionally impossible level.
Which I say impossible, but he has shown.
And this is the most important position in sports, right? We're not heatedly debating like the 30-year-old offensive lineman and what they still got left, right? Or should they pay Ronnie Hickman or just go get a veteran? We're not debating that, because those are secondary things. The importance of whoever the veteran running back is or blocking tight end.
It is the most important position.
It's the most important position in sports, and you might have the worst. You have Geno Smith with the Jets is the worst room, but you certainly have a bottom 4 room, right? And even if Shedeur improves incrementally, you still have a bottom 8 room. But riding him is your most direct way out, and has been, of the Deshaun Watson disaster. And wanting to revisit this disaster, I can't. Every time I hear it, I can't believe it.
I've just never seen anybody come off of an Achilles tear and be bigger, stronger, faster. More
2 Achilles tears.
No one's ever been better after an Achilles tear. Maybe an ACL. You can make the Adrian Peterson argument. You can do some other stuff. But an Achilles, and he was already having a rough time on the field when he was healthy.
Correct.
So now you come in.
And the shoulder. And the shoulder, on top of it all.
If you're the Browns, don't put the guy out there.
The only reason.
If he plays well, it will be fool's gold.
The only reason I could even see this being semi-entertaining.
Because it's Jimmy Haslam.
Well, Haslam, but it's also a brand new head coach. And to your point of Todd Monken didn't wait 60 now.
Yeah.
60 years to get this opportunity to go back to that. I hear you.
Exactly. Well, he wasn't born yesterday. He's been around 60 years. He should be smart enough to know that this is fool's gold.
He also is coming in with a blank canvas, and we don't know. He's said good things about all 3 quarterbacks, including Deshaun, including Dylan, including Shedeur at the press conferences. We don't know how he feels about these guys yet. Truly, we truly don't, and that's why there's even a 0.002% chance that I think this could actually happen. And it's that low. And I genuinely don't think it's any higher than that.
Right.
But because we haven't actually seen Todd Monken on the field, put together his depth chart, it's a brand new head coach coming into a brand new situation, saying this could be my one and only shot. And it probably is my one and only shot. And it's with the Cleveland Browns. And if one of these guys has to give me the best chance to win, I want to see him completely even field, play it out. I don't think that makes sense from a development long-term standpoint of the team. But I could, in the back of my head, in that little tiny ounce of percent, see how Todd Monken could rationalize that in his head.
And I would say good luck to him with that.
And I don't necessarily disagree with that either. That is, to me, I think, why all these whispers are being, as you said, nudged. It's a blank canvas with Todd Monken. If I was Todd Monken, if my name was Mike Monken, and I was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns,
it's hope season.
I know where I'm going, but it's hope season, and I guess there's still that one strand of hope left that maybe Deshaun could become the Deshaun they thought they were trading for. Maybe.
Yeah, I might win the Boston Marathon next month also.
It's like the most fun day in Boston. That was such a fun day at school. Did you see real quick?
What's that? Patriots Day?
But did you see the half marathon? The new record was set?
Half marathon? No, the one marathon thing I thought you were going to talk about was the dude who won the LA marathon who at the last second. You see the video?
Closed like secretary.
He was like 60 meters behind
Nuts.
on the final thing, and the guy's just coasting, and he literally hit the freaking tape before the other.
Let me find the number.
Dude.
The guys at the half.
I saw the half marathon. Wasn't it like a 13.5-minute mile or something like that he was keeping pace on?
13.5-minute mile is so slow, Anthony.
Yeah, it would have to. I think it was like under 10, wasn't it?
He ran a half marathon in 57 minutes and 20 seconds.
That's yeah.
57 minutes and 20 seconds.
I don't drive my car that fast.
No, what's the pace on that?
That's 13 miles.
Jacob Kiplimo.
What's the marathon? 26 miles?
26.2. And he ran it in...
So 13 miles in under an hour.
Broke it by 10 seconds. We'll pull this up, then we'll talk Cavs. This is great TV as I'm looking this up. But yeah, Deshaun Watson, the whispers are certainly happening.
Are you struggling to do math?
Yeah. Why does no one just do this for me?
I'll do it for you right now.
Yeah, 57.31 divided by 13.1.
Yeah, it's like 4.5 minutes a mile, dude. Under 5 minute miles.
Stupid. The human body, stupid. All right, Ant.
I don't think that guy's a human.
No, clearly not.
He's like an alien.
Listen, I could sprint 1 mile and break a sub 6.
Speaking of non-humans, not to derail the conversations right here at noon, but did you guys see all the Bigfoot stuff?
I did. I heard
Portage County, man.
Dude, it's down the road, man. Like 6 people, different people, have made claims. I'm just saying.
Ken
I
Carter.
love me a good conspiracy theory.
I mean, you're talking some way out there stuff like Wyndham, Garrettsville. Like it's way out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, I don't doubt that they saw something. It's probably somebody messing with them.
yeah, I mean, I think there's probably black bears in Ohio,
Yeah,
especially
think somebody-
true.
way out there.
Yeah.
Someone definitely used their tax return to buy a good costume.
I don't know Ken like you guys do, but Ken, I guess, got tagged in a bunch of "Is this you?" and he has put the PSA out there that it was not him.
Yeah.
Just want to make that clear. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he lives in the grown-up developed part of Portage County.
Oh,
you
so
start
that's-
going way further from his house.
Gotcha.
There is some stuff out there
That's okay. So that was the connection.
Yeah, like I've been to Garrettsville, and you just keep driving, and you're like, "There's no way I'm going the right direction." And then finally, you're out there. But like, there's not much.
Not many cell towers out there.
No, makes sense. All right, Ant. Let's do a read. Let's talk a little Cavs.
Yeah, I don't really have a read for you right now, but we do want to remind our second hour viewers that we're going to the WKYC app. Mike, you want to run us through that?
Yeah, starting on March 23rd, few changes coming to UCSS. We are moving times from 11 to 1. That'll now be 10 to 12. Same 2 hours, just change times slightly. We are in a new location, which is the first hour on the WKYC app. It is completely free to download. Just search WKYC in your app store. We have links, both Apple and Google phones, in the YouTube description that'll take you right to it. You can take a picture of the QR code you see on your screen. Same show, same people, same content, just a new home starting on March 23rd. We appreciate the support. We do everything we do for you guys, and we hope to see you on WKYC app starting on March 23rd. The second hour will be on YouTube, first hour exclusively on the WKYC app.
We will be full 2 hours on the WKYC app, though, so if you're watching
Yes.
there, you can keep watching. You don't have to switch back over to YouTube.
Correct. Good clarification. All right, guys, let's talk a little Cavaliers basketball. They take on the Orlando Magic tonight on ESPN, a nationally televised game. No Jared Allen, no Max Strus for the Cavs, no Franz Wagner or Anthony Black for the Magic. So a little bit of a short-handed matchup. Zach, Dustin, what are you looking most forward to tonight in seeing from the Cavs as they continue to get ready for a playoff push?
I mean, listen, they've played well. I mean, the last, basically since December, they were, I think I read the stat yesterday, 23-9?
23-9.
Yeah.
Third best record in basketball.
Yeah, so that tells me that they're playing very well right now. And the trade has been, to this point, a success because the team seems like they've got more energy. They're playing harder. Sunday sucked. I was at the game. I write that off, too. They just looked tired. I don't know. They didn't hit, to shoot 25% or whatever it was in the first half. It's hard to do. I mean, Harden's missing free throws, Donovan, these guys shouldn't be missing shots like that. It's that one's a one-off. The Celtics do worry me. Also, the fact that Jason Tatum looks like he's the one guy that looks like he might be better coming from an Achilles.
Deshaun Watson, Jason Tatum.
Yeah, Jason Tatum. No.
I take it all back.
No. Jason Tatum is like the Bigfoot.
Yes.
He's a freakazoid, or like that guy who won the marathon running 4.5 minute miles. But no. Tonight, I don't know. The Magic don't ever scare me.
No, I think it's, the Magic are probably one of the disappointing teams.
Right.
One of the
most.
most.
100%.
They were pegged as,
If not the
yeah,
most.
they're having a tough year. So it's a national TV road game.
Right.
They came back and beat the Sixers JV team on Monday night, but it's kind of, answering for what happened the last time you were on national TV, and we're down to 4 weeks or so. So it's this, go win a big road game. adjust to life without Jared Allen. Probably I'm most interested to see, and especially in a game like this with the Magic down a couple guys, I want to see Schroeder and Ellis come in and be the kind of impact that they've been in those minutes, right? You're going to have your ups and downs. Shots are going to fall and shots are not going to fall at other times. But I think those guys have brought such a different energy and can come in and give you such great defense. And I keep using the word energy that just wasn't there before. So I want to see them in this setting because that's how you're going to win playoff games. That's how you're going to shift playoff series. And so this is a playoff-ish game tonight. It's not Boston. It's not New York. But it's a road game and a chance at a little bit of redemption.
They're a physical team. I mean, they play good defense. It could be one of those games, as you said, it could be kind of like a playoff test. You're on the road. This team's going to play you physical. And I think we need to continue to see the growth of Mobley's offensive game. Like, I'd love to see tonight, I'm looking to see him score in the 20s.
So part of the reason he gets to the 20s, or part of the way he gets to the 20s.
I set you up.
You did. It was great. Nice job.
You got you, bro. Got you, bro.
Really well done. To the Celtics game, and then we'll move forward.
Yeah.
Since Allen's been out, the offense has kind of just looked a lot more stagnant than it had previously. And a big reason for that, in my opinion, is that Jared Allen's a very good actual physical screener. Like, in the terms of actually setting screens, Jared Allen is really good at that. And that's part of the reason why he developed this instant chemistry with James Harden. We saw the lobs. We talked about how Harden has made players like Jared Allen hundreds of, and no exaggeration, hundreds of millions of dollars throughout his career. Evan Mobley, not the same caliber of screener. He likes to slip screens more. He likes to kind of show the screen, get out, and instead of rim running, he kind of floats to the middle, which is not wrong per se. There are two different ways to operate a pick and roll. Harden has been much more successful throughout his career with the Jared Allen types, less successful with the Evan Mobley types. And tonight, when we're looking at certain things to watch for, it's how does that pick and roll tandem work together? Kenny was asked before the game against the Sixers on Monday what he's seen from the two, why it hasn't necessarily clicked like you'd want it to click. And he said, well, they're two smart players. They have different styles. It's all about those two getting the reps in together. James compromising a little bit of what he wants to do. Evan compromising a little bit of what he wants to do. And then figuring out the best way to maximize each of their individual skill sets in that particular set. And if technology works, I would like to show you guys a little bit of basketball geometry.
Let's do it.
To understand why the two are different and how Evan could do some things better tonight in particular against the Magic defense to unlock what Dustin wants, which is 20 points. So, and let's see if the telestrator will work here. Let's hope this technology decides to work. This first play goes way back.
Mikey McTelly.
We're going to try and explain what James Harden wants in any pick and roll situation. This is against the Denver Nuggets in just the second game he played. It's not a straight pick and roll. You're going to see Dennis Schroeder actually. Here's Schroeder. Aha. Is it working?
Oh, we're money, bro.
Yeah.
Keep going.
There we go.
Do your
Turn the
thing.
key on.
Do your thing.
There we go. We can see everybody now. Schroeder's going to end up setting the screen here. Jared Allen's going to roll, and what happens after the Allen roll is what you guys have to watch here. So let this play through. You see Schroeder sets the first screen, and then as soon as he screens, there goes Jared Allen on the slip. That's the guy you're watching, but watch how the defense, and in particular, this defender reacts to Allen rim running like he does. I'm going to pause it at the exact spot because this is, from a high angle, the exact basketball look that James Harden is trying to get. Worked out perfect. You have a trail defender here coming behind James Harden while James Harden is attacking Jonas Valanciunas here. You have three guys, 1, 2, 3, against just two Denver Nugget defenders. It's a 3-on-2 at this point with Jamal Murray at his back. This defender's the key here. If he comes down to stop the rim run, which he does, James has an easy kick to a Jalen Tyson wide open on the wing. Valanciunas is retreating. If he continues to retreat, Harden, which he ends up finishing with a layup on this single possession, is reading Valanciunas. He goes back, Harden goes forward. Very simple. It's all about that simple read of the opposite end defender who has to react to Jared Allen rim running. We'll let it play one more time so you can see it in motion. But as Allen goes, defender comes in. He had either an easy layup or kicks out to the wing for an open Jalen Tyson 3. On this next clip, from the first game they played together, I'll let it play through. It's the strong side, but it gets a wide open Donovan Mitchell 3 because of how hard Allen rim runs and what that does to the defense. I'll pause it here again. As Allen comes down the middle of the lane, this help side defender has to shift in, or else it's an easy lob for Jared Allen. As they do that, it's going to leave Donovan Mitchell wide open because there's nothing else to do. You have to pick one. It's a 2-on-1 situation for the offense and leads to an open 3. And If Sacramento defended this even better, it should be this guy stepping up, which would leave Jalen Tyson wide open for 3.
Yeah, there's 2 open shooters there.
A disaster.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it is what it is. But because Allen rolls so hard to the rim, it forces the defense to react. This next clip is with Evan Mobley here. This was the Monday night game against Philadelphia. Mobley's going to actually set a good screen, but instead of rim running, watch kind of the fade angle he takes. It's not going to be a downward angle. It's more of a horizontal instead of a vertical angle here. And I'll let this play through, then we'll stop and I'll let you guys see it. Holds the screen, catches it high, and by the time he ends up getting to the basket, the defender on him in the initial action beats him to the cup, and it ends up being a block and a turnover. Once again, it's not the end of the world, but when he sets this screen here, the advantage is in this area. That's the open area. James wants to throw a pass in this general direction. Mobley opens up with the wrong hip and kind of doesn't go in down, kind of fades out because he's a better shooter. He has the ability, he's a pick and pop guy. Give him credit for actually setting the screen. It changes the whole angle. When he comes out and catches here, it is a 2-on-1, but the whole help side hasn't shifted in to force or to counteract what the Cavs are trying to do in that rim run situation. Mobley here, in theory, could kick it to Keon Ellis. It's probably the right move, but he's catching it on the run. Quentin Grimes kind of jab steps at him, but most importantly, this is the guy guarding Mobley in the initial action, Zach. He's ahead of Evan Mobley.
Right, he's right there.
He's right there. Evan hasn't gained an advantage. James hasn't gained an advantage because of the angle at which Mobley slipped to the basket. We'll restart it one more time. Let me get to the next clip. We'll restart it one more time so you can see it again. But by not running out of this screen here, taking his time, putting his hip into it again, Bona is already closer to the rim than Evan is on the roll. Not going to work as effectively. Now, can it work? Yes, it can. You can see on this clip, same game, it's going to lead to an open Jalen Tyson 3 in the corner, despite the fact it's not a hard rim run. It's just you're not putting the defense in a position where they have to make a decision. If you don't have to make a decision, then you're letting James Harden just play basketball as is. When you rim run like Jared Allen does every time, it forces the defense to make a decision or it leads to an easy alley-oop. Mobley is a different skill set than Jared Allen. It's not apples to apples. He shouldn't necessarily rim run every time, but James Harden wants his bigs to rim run so he can see the defense how he wants to see the defense. And for everyone saying, well, Mobley can't screen hard, this is the opening play against Boston. Watch the screen he sets on Sam Merrill's guy here. Mobley's capable of being a hard screener, of actually putting a body on a body and making sure his guy gets open. It's a great screen. It's a great ATO out of the start of the game for Kenny Atkinson and company. He's capable of it. Just want to see it more consistently. Tonight, as we're looking for things against Orlando, that's what I want to see from the Cavs, how the James Harden-Evan Mobley pick-and-roll combination continues to evolve and progress as they get more reps together.
That's
Hopefully
what
that made
this
sense.
is. Yeah, that's what this is. This is reps, right? This is James Harden getting more and more comfortable with the guys that are around. Jared Allen has played super well, so
Yeah.
it's a loss even before you dive far into the technical part of it. But these next however many games are about James Harden continuing to get comfortable with his teammates. You hope it's about getting Max Strus back in game shape and getting Jared Allen back. But for now, this is a good challenge against a playoff quality team, although a disappointing one. Right? And you're just trying to get guys in the right place on the screen stuff, and you're trying to get guys in the right rotations to figure out, how you're going to adapt and continue to grow this chemistry.
Boston switched everything, Dustin, which is part of the reason why the offense looks so ugly. If they're going to switch and you roll hard, you get a big on a little, right? There was a couple possessions in that game, even early, where they put Derek White on Evan Mobley off the switch. Mobley went to the paint and was able to get a pretty easy look. He missed a wide-open layup and then had a nice finish with the other one. If he kind of floats when you switch, are the Celtics really worried about a Derek White on Evan Mobley mismatch 18 feet from the bucket?
No.
No. Are they worried about it 4 feet from the bucket?
Yeah.
A lot more.
For
so
sure.
that there's some perks and benefits to, even in a switching defense, if they're just going to concede the switch early, still rolling hard, either going to get a lob, force the defense in, or if they do a good job defending it all, you get a mismatch down low in a way that you probably wouldn't have had before.
I'm just sitting here thinking about, I do this for a living, and you're better at mentality than I am.
That's tell
Dude, you're really good at that, dude. I'm gonna give you your flowers, dude. Like, you're really good at that. Well done.
I need to find better ways to draw things instead of circling and making.
Doesn't matter, dude. Do you know what John Madden looked like?
No, I just there's.
Okay, well, go look at John Madden's illustrator. He identified, and it was the ugliest thing ever, but it worked. So
less ugly, more making sure I don't draw something on a teleprompter I don't want to be screenshotted later with. That's more.
Yeah, the meme world has changed a lot of things.
Screenshots are not a friend in today's day and age.
Anyway, I'm smarter after watching that segment, so well done.
We'll see what happens tonight because no Jared Allen. Evan Mobley's in. Orlando plays drop coverage a lot, which James Harden should be able to take advantage of. If they're in drop, they're just putting the big man down on that screen. If you hold it for 1 second, you're creating the advantage already because the guy guarding James Harden's going to be on your back. But Harden's got to be able to finish some of those floaters, which since he injured his thumb, his shot distribution has been way off. He's taken, this is before the game on Monday. I don't have the updated numbers. In the 4 games since he'd injured the thumb before Monday, 13 shots in the paint and 23 threes. Cavs aren't winning if James Harden's not getting to the paint.
No, squiggles or no squiggles, though, what you see in those stills, the goal was to get James Harden the ball and create space, put shooters there. The emergence of Jalen Tyson, obviously important. Sam Merrill's not going to knock everyone down every night, but he's capable.
Yes.
He draws the defense, right? So
when Strus comes back.
Right, when Strus comes back. And so Schroeder and Ellis just have to make their fair share of shots, bring the energy they bring at the defensive end, and the Cavs are onto something. The Cavs made these moves in January and February and got a lot better. And so it's just about being healthy, getting these reps, and ultimately finding your best 5, which is going to be different in every situation, but the ball's going to be in James Harden's hands a lot.
I mean, he's not LeBron, but when LeBron was here, this is what we did. I mean, he drove and he got people to collapse, and then you were able to find guys on the outside. That's why, guys like Kyle Korver and some of the other shooters like J.R. Smith were so vital.
Made a living off that.
Made a living off because they had open looks, man. Everyone wants to play with guys like LeBron and James Harden. Maybe not so much James, but you know what I'm saying? Like, because you're going to get those open looks. If you're a shooter, if you're Sam Merrill, dude, you should be looking at your chops. And you better be ready to go because we need all these guys. And you're right, Strus has got to come back. I'm really worried about that guy because it's been a while.
In a week.
Good.
In a week.
Good.
He's been doing G League practices, is that right?
Yes, he's
getting on the court up and down?
He's been practicing. He went through last Friday, he went through a full
5-on-5?
5-on-5 practice with the Cavs. Kenny says he's at 90%. He just has to be cleared by one more. The last hurdle is he needs one final. You've been through a week of practice. We're going to go back, look at it. One final doctor clearance. Okay. He's good to go.
And you're just going to play him in 5-minute shifts.
Yeah.
Right? Just let him get his legs and let him get his timing.
Go out there and get some jumpers in, man, and see what happens.
Absolutely.
I think he's game ready. From everything I've heard, there's only one speed for Max Strus, and it is not.
Maybe because he has one speed, this is why they're being so cautious because they do not want to put him out there when he is not. Like if he can do some damage, he'll do it.
I have a pretty good authority that because he has one speed, that's part of the reason it's taken so long.
You have to protect him from himself.
From himself, and he may have re-aggravated some stuff just because he doesn't know how to, ease into things. It is.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
I can put my shoe back on. I'm not in a boot. We're going 150% through drills, and it's like, hey, Max, relax.
Yeah.
You'll be
We're
good.
just trying to see you get confident here.
But he's very close. Will Max Strus play before the end of the regular season? Yes, he will. Will he play in 17 games of the last 19? Probably not. I would be shocked if they let him play in back-to-backs right off the bat. But he's way closer than it felt like he was a week ago. And every update we're now getting on Max is an actual, tangible, positive update, not a delay in any update.
He's down the list, right? This is not important as Mobley's calf or Harden's thumb. But this is a guy that has played in this league for a long time, has helped you win big games. Yeah. And you haven't had him all year. You've made tweaks to address what you had and didn't have. You've been able to surround him with shooters and upgrades. And now you're going to have another shooter, another guy who can come in and guard multiple positions.
With finals experience, by the way.
Yes. So this is a potentially huge, even in 5-minute spurts.
I think he's the only guy that has finals experience since 2020. Larry Nance Jr. on the 2018 Cavs, I think, is the...
Was Strus his the COVID year bubble?
With the Heat, yeah.
The bubble?
Yeah.
This is what it's important because this is what struck me about Tatum coming back, right? And he's been playing more than I think a lot of us thought. Right.
Yeah.
So, it's like, okay, what's the chemistry? What's his confidence level? Is he really Jason Tatum? And there's gray area and all that, although obviously the early returns. But he's taken the minutes of Sam Hauser and Jordan Walsh, right? It's Jason Tatum. So that's a huge upgrade. Where Strus comes in, there's other good players around him. This is not the Cavs counting on Max Strus to be their fourth best player. No. This is the Cavs counting on Max Strus to come in and be steady and occasionally make the wide open shot that he's going to be created for.
Do you think that because he's just kind of one of those guys, one of the outside, coach can basically ride the hot hand on any given night.
For sure.
So you're saying 5-minute spurts, sure. But some nights it might be guy gets 26 minutes.
I think you had 5-minute spurts when he starts.
Yeah, when he starts.
No, I know that, but I'm saying like if he's hot, you're not taking a guy out of the game.
No, that's a guy that absolutely could be in a closing 5.
100%.
1,000%.
I mean,
probably not, but it could be. So much of this, when you get into April,
depends on the
it's
matchup.
It's matchups, yeah. If they want to go one big to close in certain matchups, and Strus gets back to being the Max Strus, let's just injury be damned, he's the Max Strus that we knew Max Strus had been in the past. If he's this Max Strus, him, Tyson, Harden, they're all 6'5", 6'6". Strus is taller than you think. Tyson's a legit 6'5", 6'6". Harden's huge. It's not height-wise the tallest, but Tyson's a pretty good defender. Strus is a pretty good defender. Harden's impossible to move. He's not great on the perimeter, but he can guard bigger guys just because of how strong he is. And then you have Donovan. That's not a tiny, minuscule lineup like some of the Cavs' other small ball options have been in the past.
Will Jalen Tyson be there at 24?
Jordan Tyson,
yes, sorry. I do that every time.
I mean, if you had a mock to them in your last mock.
I did. I was following Dane Brugler's lead. I saw him at the Combine. He's plenty big.
If it was,
he was in the Cavs arena.
If I'm taking a receiver at 24 and he's there and it's close between somebody else, this Cleveland tie puts me over the hump.
Yeah, I think that's probably a little overthinking it, but I think more like this. When you're building a receiving core, you're building a basketball team, right? You want 5 different body types and guys with different skill sets. And the best version of Jerry Jeudy can play multiple roles and help you in multiple ways. But I think especially because it just hasn't worked with Cedric Tillman, you're looking for that big, especially in a high draft pick, that big, true outside X receiver.
True number one.
Right? Guy that can move, guy can do some different things, but mostly he's always going to play the same spot. He's going to have 3 or 4 patterns that he runs, and you want him to grow over the course of his career into that kind of outside receiver, using the body to secure the ones on third down, and in the red zone, you feel confident. Go watch his highlight reel. That's what you see. He's got to be healthy. He's got to get in there and develop. Again, you talked about Barry's inability to draft offensive linemen. We've seen it at wide receiver. But, I think it's pretty clear at this point, whether they trade down or not. The Browns are using their 2 first-round picks on offensive tackle and on wide receiver, and so he's got to be on the list.
Depending on the order? Do you think there's one order more likely than the other?
I'm valuing tackle right now. I think those are harder to find over the course of time. But, we'll see. I wouldn't hate Carnell Tate at 6. I don't think anyone would.
Not one person that watches the show would bitch about Carnell Tate at 6.
No.
Tyvis has changed his mindset after he saw he texted the group after the Alec Pierce signing and said, if that's what it costs to get a wide receiver 2, I'm taking Carnell Tate in the draft at 6. That was his definitive. He's he's flip-flopped 36 times on who he
No
wanted.
way.
Oh, come on.
I know Tyvis. But even Bull agreed with him, too. Bull was team offensive line first because there are just so few tackles, and then he kind of went into the Carnell Tate mode as well. So,
man, if he didn't have such a nice smile, people would be on his ass.
Well, they got on him yesterday.
Did they?
They were very mad at him yesterday.
Oh, okay.
What? About what? What did he do?
He started the show by taking a minute to defend Jason, and then it led to a whole debate. But we got Jay.
Yeah, guys, we got Jay. And before we go out to spring training, I want to remind everybody that you can experience Charge basketball at Public Hall this season. The Cleveland Charge, the NBA G League affiliate for the Cavaliers, are back in action for their 5th season in Cleveland. In Charge alumni like Sam Merrill and Naquan Tomlin, and two-way players like Tristan Anaruma show the NBA G League is the home for future stars in the NBA. Get ready for Magical Night as Public Hall transforms into Hogwarts this Friday. It's Harry Potter Night presented by Nuevo on Friday, March 13th at 7, and the first 1,500 fans receive a Charge scarf. You can get your tickets right now on sale at clevelandcharge.com. Now we go out to spring training, talk a little baseball with Jay. What's up, Jay?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Jay?
Beautiful,
Looks sunny
beautiful
out
weather
there.
back there today. It's beautiful here.
I cannot hear
but
Jay. Can you?
I can. Yeah.
I can hear.
So is that a Mikey problem, not a me problem?
Nope, I got you now, Jay. You're good.
It's a Mikey
I got
problem.
you.
We're good now.
Very good. What's the weather back there, just out of curiosity?
You know the answer to that question. How dare you ask us?
It's gray.
No, seriously, because yesterday I was at the game in Goodyear, and they always, before every game, they do this funny thing where they announce the weather back home in Cleveland, because obviously a lot of folks are up from Cleveland to watch spring training, and then they announced the game time temperature. And yesterday, it was crazy because yesterday they said the temperature in Cleveland is 62 degrees. and the temperature here is 72 degrees, and I'm like, wow, that's not that big of a difference. So
Right.
I just figured, it's probably a pretty nice day back there, I would guess.
It is downpouring, Jay. It is about 45 degrees, and we're expecting snow tomorrow. So you and Sean Dunnigan, our guy, got the right assignment this week.
Yeah, no, there's no question about that. We've been taking in a lot of baseball, watching a lot of the different, not just the big league guys, because we pretty much know what the roster is going to look like, but we spent a lot of time also watching some of the kids that are in the pipeline, some of the younger guys. And I just talked to John McDonald, who's the field director for the minor league operation. And he is so enthusiastic and excited about the kids that they have here that will be coming up to the big league club within the next, not necessarily this year, but within the next couple of years. We were talking just now about Ralphie Velasquez, and here's a kid that, oh my goodness, he's 20 years old. He's probably, and this is, John wouldn't commit to it, it's just my guess that he's going to start at AAA Columbus because he handled AA last year really well. And, he led he averaged just about an RBI a game for 2 months while he was up in AA Akron. So this is a kid that, even though he's not in this next immediate wave of guys like DeLauder and Valera and Bazana, he's a guy that is absolutely going to make a huge impact when he finally gets to the major league level. Again, just 20 years old. We're going to talk to him in about 20 minutes as soon as I leave from this shot. So there's that end of it, and then there's the other guys, the Valera, the DeLauder. One of the biggest things that I want to talk to you guys about is a selfless act from Stephen Kwan in deciding to come to management when spring training began and said, look, I know that we have a problem with our corner outfielders. You need power in those positions. They were one of the least productive offenses or outfields last year in all of Major League Baseball, historically bad. And I think the idea is they need some power in the corners. Valera and DeLauder are ready. Can they handle the rigors of a 162-game season? Can they stay healthy? If they can, then this can be a really fun season. But when you're in an organization like Cleveland, you got to roll the dice, and you got to hope that a lot of these things come to fruition. And Bazana is one of them, and DeLauder and Valera. Well, can they stay healthy? They're both hitting the ball very well this spring. So there's a lot of hope involved when you're running a team like Cleveland, where you can't just go out and spend big free agent dollars to bring in known commodities. You got to go with guys that you hope can deliver, and there's a lot of those. And if they can, it'll be a fun year, I think. And the expectations are as high as ever. Just every player I talk to, all of the management staff that I've talked to, they all say the same thing. When you ask what they expect from this season, they all say our goal is to win a World Series. So good luck. That's a huge step from trying to get in as a division winner in a small market division, but that is the goal, and that's what they're aiming for. So let's hope they can pull it off. But it will be a fun season for sure.
Jay, of those guys who maybe have been in the majors or expected to open in the majors, you went out. If there was one that you wanted to see, what's your report now that you've seen him? What is any of your impressions or your hopes for one of those guys changed?
I really want to see DeLauder at the big league level, and I want to see him, like we all do. We all want to see him healthy. But the guy that I think I'm most excited about, Zach, and I don't know if you've had a chance to watch him much, but my goodness, this Ralphie Velasquez kid is incredible. John McDonald just said that he was taking BP yesterday on a field. And now, granted, he's 20 years old. He's one of the kids out here. And he said everybody, even the older guys that were in that group, were just watching him in awe at how the ball comes off of his bat completely differently. When you watch guys behind a cage, the ball sounds differently for certain guys. He's a guy that I just can't wait to. I wish he was a righty because we could use a right-handed bat with some power, but I can't wait to see his career progress. Again, I'm excited because we're going to talk to him here in about 15 minutes. And but John told me, he said, you're going to love him. He's together. He's focused. Hell, I remember when I was 20 years old, I was late to class when my first class was 11:30 in the morning. And here this kid is just really putting a string of work together that hopefully will put him in the major leagues sooner than later. But he's fun to watch.
Jay, after Bybee and Gavin, how do you see the rest of the rotation shaking out?
Deep, very deep. Slade, I talked to Slade Ciccone about the depth in this rotation, and not that you would do it, not that you would want to do it, but they actually are going to have a hard time getting it down to 5. That's how many talented arms there are in the starting rotation. That's good because you know that during 162 games, especially with pitchers and especially early in the season, there are going to be injuries, there are going to be guys that miss starts, and this team is well positioned to just call up the next arm and throw the next arm in there to be a starter. I watched Bybee yesterday. The results didn't show it, but he threw the ball very, very well. He threw 3 2/3. He struck out 6. He was mid-90s on the gun. His location was good. There was a fluky play that should have ended the 4th inning. It was a ground ball to Gabriel Arias at short. An easy play. He threw the ball low to first, so took 1 error there. The runner was advancing to second, and the throw from Kafis to second was a throw that Arias should have handled, and he didn't. So a run scored, and then the very next hitter, Bybee came out of the game. The very next hitter hits a home run. So really, they ended up losing the game, I think 5-4 to the Giants, who've had a great spring. But I think Bybee, and I think I said this a couple weeks ago on the show, I'm looking for Bybee to absolutely break out into the pitcher that I think he can be. I think he can be a front of the rotation, not just front of the rotation, but a guy that if everything goes his way, you could be talking about an all-star pitcher. Gavin Williams, same thing. He looks great. Slade Ciccone is mentally as strong as a pitcher as you'd want him to be. He told me and I don't know if I believe it, but this is what he said. He said, I didn't even know what my ERA was last year. I never look. I just pitch to results. I don't care what my ERA is. I know if I have good stuff. He's worked on a couple of other pitches, so I think he's added some things to his repertoire that will make him a better pitcher. And then there's other guys that we saw briefly last year, but we didn't get to see a lot of. Messick is a guy I think that they're going to lean heavily on. So I think the starting rotation is the strength of this team. I think the bullpen is also going to be a strength. This is something I'm sure that we talked about this last year and I'd forgotten, but I think it was either Hedgie or Fry told me that after Clase was suspended, the Guardians had the #1 rated bullpen in all of baseball. And we saw it down the stretch how good they were for them to catch the Tigers. But I don't know that I was aware of the fact that even without Clase, they still had the best bullpen in all of baseball, certainly the deepest. And they added Sean Armstrong, so they've got a little extra depth there. So I think the bullpen is going to be – I'm not worried about pitching at all with this team. It's just, will the kids hit? How long will it be for Bazzana to make it up here? I wouldn't be surprised if Bazzana does start AAA and plays – like they think he can, that he'll probably force the Guardians to do something with their second shortstop situation, whether Arias is traded or maybe Rocchio moves to short and Bazzana takes second. There's potential for some of that to happen. So it really, I think if I had to sum up my outlook on the season in a nutshell, it would be a lot of hope. We have to hope that a lot of these young kids stay healthy and that they can hit at this level. And if they do, it's going to be a terrific season to watch, a lot of fun to watch.
Jay, last question, we'll get you out of here, but I am on the 2026 will be Jose Ramirez's best career season campaign. I don't know why, I just got a feeling that Jose has another level to reach, and it will peak in 2026. From what you've seen from Jose so far, are you getting the sense that he's in for a bigger, better season than we've seen from Jose at this point?
I don't know. I mean, that's a big ask.
Oh, I know.
Because he's put together some incredible seasons. And typically he's at the stage of his career where you start seeing diminished returns. Man, if he has the best season of his career, I would raise my expectations even higher, because I think part of my equation as I look at their chances to make the playoffs and to try to make a run, one of the things is, and we just take this for granted, well, Jose's going to be Jose. at some point, Hosey's not going to be Hosey anymore. And I hope we're not to that point. But when you look at his progression age-wise, we're getting to that point where he's either at his peak or on the way down. Mike, I hope your hunch is right. It's funny watching him, and I have for a number of years. This is probably, maybe my 7th or 8th spring training since he's been with the club. He is so laid back. It's hard to say. I don't want to say that he's disinterested and he looks like he doesn't want to be here, because if you watch Hosey with his kind of with this strut and the way he walks, he's just like, it's everything easy. And so it doesn't look like he's working hard here, but he is. It doesn't look like he's working hard until he runs at the big league level, and then once he takes off, he runs like hair's on fire. So if he has his best season of his career, I think that you can expect some October baseball from the Guardians. That means everybody else is doing well around him too.
Well, we're looking forward to that. Jay, enjoy the sunshine. Safe travels back. Make sure Sean Duddigan doesn't get into too much trouble out in Goodyear, because we know Sean's a menace. So keep an eye on Sean for us and bring him back safe. And Jay hung up. Thanks, Jay. We love Jay out in Arizona, and wish we had that kind of sunshine here.
God, that looked great, didn't it?
It did look great. Sean called me yesterday and said it's 70 degrees here. I hear it's 65 in Cleveland. And I said, yep, you guys missed out. And he said, what's it look like tomorrow? I said, you win.
You were also a little wrong on the weather currently, though. It's 63 out right now, not 45. It's a big difference.
Is it that warm?
Yes.
Oh, well, I don't know.
It's just.
I didn't open my windows on the
It's gonna get in the 40s.
It's supposed to snow tomorrow. I do know that.
But it's absolutely brutal out there. So by the way, be safe, because there's severe weather in the area. Like there's tornado watches all around us. It's like crazy stuff. So it's
the golf course by my house has
not
been
great.
packed.
Yeah.
Like drive by the last few days, it's just packed.
Some guys playing at our club yesterday.
Yeah.
Outside.
It's finally feels like spring.
A little mushy out there, but still playable.
One more time we're going to get to it. Last read, and let's dive into some free agency reaction.
Yeah, guys, before we get to free agency, I just want to remind everybody to go follow us on our social media channels, because despite all the changes coming, and we'll have answers for you, our socials are not going to change. Go follow us on X, Instagram, and TikTok. We post highlights from the show. We're on there 24/7, so you guys know when we're going live. If anything breaks, follow us on social to keep up with everything.
All right, guys, let's talk about some of the other free agency moves not involving the Cleveland Browns. One that I guess inadvertently does is the Max Crosby situation, guys. The Raiders, had agreed to trade 2 first-round picks, or get 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby from the Baltimore Ravens. Then yesterday, they put out a comment saying the Ravens have pulled out of the deal. We have no further comment. It's since been reported that this from Diana Rossini, but you could look at almost any national reporter at this point, but shout out Diana for having kind of the first one, that this whole Max failed his physical report may be a little bit of bogus, Zach, and I see you kind of smirking. So maybe you have some inside information, maybe you don't. They have since pivoted and signed Trey Hendrickson to a 4-year, $112 million deal, so maybe a little nefarious actions going on.
Yeah.
But this whole situation's crazy, because a lot of teams have moved on since not getting Max Crosby, and now a lot of them are wondering, well,
is he
can
still
we go
available?
get him? So, Zach, what do you say about this?
Well, I think bogus is probably a word I would stay away from, because we don't know the details, but we knew what was up with Max Crosby. He had a bad knee. The Raiders were shutting him down, A, because of the knee, B, C, and D, because they were tanking. But he had the surgery. So before you even get to step 2, as any team, the Ravens, the Colts, the Eagles, whomever, you need the medical report. You know he's coming off of this. Max Crosby's played a lot of games. He's got a lot of miles on him, right? He's not 30 yet, but he's got a lot of miles on him.
29.
So you have zero surprise. You knew exactly when the surgery was, and you probably even have the preliminary medicals. So you make the trade on Friday night. You beat everybody to the punch. You have the guy in your building for almost 2 full days. And then at 8 o'clock at night, 20 hours before the official start of the league year, and pen goes to paper officially, and papers get put in the fax machine officially, it's fishy.
Yeah.
It's probably nefarious. It's strange. It's bad business from the optics standpoint. No doubt.
Have you seen this happen before? You covered the league for a long time.
I've seen guys fail physicals. I've seen deals fall through.
The AJ McCarron.
Yeah.
Sashi's in Baltimore.
But a player of
a player of this
first round
stature,
picks and the contract, I just can't remember ever, because teams want you want the guy to pass the physical. In fact, if there was any questions, like you said, they should know most of the details before. So going into it, there's no surprises. You're like, okay, yeah, you're not playing football today, but
Right.
We know where you're going to be in 2 months.
Right. The Raiders did not just call the Ravens and say, you have an hour to do this deal. Right. The Raiders suddenly put out, we will trade Max Crosby only for this price. Right. And they said the same thing to the Cowboys, to the Eagles, to the Colts, to everybody. The Bengals everybody inquired on Max Crosby. Just like everybody inquired last year on Myles Garrett, and the Browns said no. So, yeah, it's really weird that it would have come to this. Because there was no leak, like teams are hesitant because of it. Two first-rounders, even though they're counting on next year's being very late, that's a huge price. And that was a deal the Raiders could not turn down.
And the reports from elsewhere were Dallas offered a first and a second. Other teams had offered a first and a second. I saw Schefter on Get Up this morning say that during the medical procedure, the Cowboys team doctor was part of the physical report, which is interesting because they were a team interested, but it's not. That part's not nefarious. That happens all the time where he was the designated specialist for that injury working. It is just crazy that a player of that caliber, I don't want to say franchise-changing player, but top 5 defensive player in football, arguably him and Myles Garrett, the two best run-stopping defensive ends in football. He has 45 tackles for loss and run stops over the last 2 seasons, 13 more than Myles, who's second. 13 over 2. It's not a little gap. That is a gigantic gap. Myles is a better player. No, I'm not saying that, but he's in that at least conversation for elite defensive ends, and the Ravens haven't had an elite pass rusher of that caliber since Terrell Suggs. They bring in Jesse Minter, defensive-minded head coach. That felt like the perfect fit, and then for now, poof, lots changed.
It's not a stretch to call him a franchise-changing player, right? Any team, let alone the Baltimore Ravens, is not giving up 2 first-round picks unless you view the guy as a franchise-changing player.
Valid,
right?
yeah.
And this guy is in the tier, right? And we can argue, and we do here in Cleveland, about who's the best and how they're different and all of that. But Max Crosby is a dude. And Max Crosby is a guy that Baltimore viewed, at least for a few days, probably a few weeks, few months, as a guy that could get them over the hump, right? They think they're close. They're willing to make this sacrifice. They're willing to go for it. And then at the last minute, the last day, they're out when everything's been agreed to, when they've won the auction, when he's been in your building?
Zach, how does this go over with
Can't be good.
other teams looking at the Ravens going forward?
It doesn't go over well. Now, does it really change anything if you have a deal done?
Sure.
I don't know. It depends on the magnitude of the deal. It doesn't.
But does it make teams hesitant to even call you?
Well, it certainly makes the Raiders hesitant.
Right.
And I think what ultimately will be is he will get traded for a 1 and a 2. It won't be 2 once, and the Raiders will be mad. And I don't know. I think the Raiders had so much cap space. I think they can make all these other moves.
They're able to still absorb Max Crosby because of the excess of cap.
So it's
no other
all
team
the
would be able
moves.
to.
Right.
They're the exception.
All the moves they made. It's all the moves the Ravens started to make. And the Ravens, half their team, it feels like, went to the Giants with
And by the
Harbaugh.
way, the moves the Ravens didn't make. Maybe they offer Linderbaum a little more money because their reported offer was 4 for 88. Vegas came in 3 for 81.
Yeah.
Maybe if they don't think they're getting Max Crosby, they up their offer a little bit.
So every year there is some sort of curveball, but it's usually more in the middle tier. And it's not usually like a last minute the team gets cold feet. It's usually the player gets cold feet.
Yeah.
Or gets suddenly a better offer from some super desperate team.
Has anybody heard, is Max on the record about this at all or no?
Not since. Now he did.
Has he posted anything on
He
socials?
posted that he was in Baltimore yesterday.
Yeah,
before
and he
this
posted
happened.
he was flying home. He posted that. But I don't think he's made a full statement. His agent came out with a statement late last night, but it was simple. It was basically saying the medical information says that Max is going to be the player that he's always been, and everybody knew about this surgery. It would be one thing if it was a hidden surgery.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
No.
I guess, I mean, anybody who's dealt with a relationship or whatever, you get a marriage, maybe you get cold feet. Is that just what the Raiders did? They were like, okay, maybe after sleeping on this for a couple days, we just don't think we'd rather have the first round picks.
We'd rather have Trey Hendrickson in the first round picks.
Yeah.
The whole Ravens offseason came down to 2 things. One, the Linderbaum contract.
Yeah.
And 2, by 4 p.m. today, Lamar had to restructure his contract. Now, that was a given, but Lamar does not have an agent. So it's always a little tricky because it's player directly to owner or player to cap guy.
Yeah.
But they needed to make 2 plans. Are we having Linderbaum or are we not? And they were willing, when they made this trade, to lose Linderbaum, only for very top of the market, and he completely busted the market. So those 2 organizations start to go in a straight line with these moves.
Sure.
And then Philly has to pivot, and Dallas has to pivot, and whomever else is involved here. And there were teams trying to get Hendrickson this morning. But the Ravens saw and said, we can't give this up.
So Ari Merov, My Sports Update on Twitter, put together a timeline of the information he could gather. I want to read this for you guys just on this.
That others gathered that he puts out.
Yes.
I just want to make that clear.
Yes. Very, very, very good. I was reading what he said, but the reality is what you said. Then we'll talk about some of the other deals. This is what Ari Merev said, or is aggregating. 4 or 5 teams, including the Eagles, Colts, and Bills, were in talks with Trey Hendrickson's camp Tuesday morning trying to hammer out a deal. Midday, those talks stalled and communication was lacking compared to the morning. Teams involved got the sense something major had changed behind the scenes. We now know the Ravens had jumped in and aggressively started pushing to get a deal done at a bigger number than everyone else. After the Max Crosby trade falling through becomes public, at that point, other teams realized Hendrickson was going to end up in Baltimore this morning. It was finalized. Hendrickson, a Raven, 4-year, $112 million deal. Max Crosby back with the Raiders in the facility this morning.
What's even crazier about this whole thing, and this isn't necessarily for this example, is 80% of these deals are done at the combine. Right? They're done, and you get to noon on Monday, and you just simply finalize them. And sometimes there is a late team. Sometimes there's a late change in the team's thinking. But you do those deals to have them done, and because you're stacking them, it goes 1-1-1 down the line. And so for this kind of late curveball, after that commitment had been made on both sides, it does affect
I can't wait for the 30 for 30 on this deal.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you thought the A.J. McCarron thing was interesting and funny. There's got to be way more.
And Sashi Brown is the president of football operations.
He's the president of the team. He's not really supposed to be involved with the football operations. But
okay.
He lost his privileges.
Yeah. Well,
did you see the guy, the Ravens fan? His @ is @ Kyle Hamilton DPOY, who said, "I'll shave my head if Matt
I saw
is a
that.
Raven."
Yeah.
Shaved his head.
Yeah.
Not a good look.
No.
Nobody's more mad than him.
Yeah.
Because he committed.
Yeah. This is
He's got no hair.
Unfortunately, hair goes back.
Yeah. Some of the other moves: Romeo Doubs, 4 years, $80 million to the Patriots. He was the guy that we had talked about as a possibility for the receiver room for the Browns. Dustin, $20 million a year for Romeo Doubs.
I'm tainted because the guy wears a pillow on his head to give that guy that much money. I'm kidding. I get it, but he's a great player.
Yeah,
great player. Covered him in college. Watched his career. He's a dynamic guy.
Where did he go to college?
Nevada.
We're talking about a lot of Nevada guys here today, for sure. I didn't know we were going to talk No Sean Marino, but we did that too.
Shout out to my guy No Sean.
Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Nate Burleson?
Yeah, start naming Nevada players. The Browns had one, Corey Jackson. He didn't last long.
Yeah.
No.
But Bitonio did.
Predictions for the Browns, the rest of free agency. You think they're done making
No,
significant signings?
No, I think any veteran they add to the receiving corps is a significant move because they just don't have reliable guys. They don't
Is there a name
have proven guys.
you've heard you circling? At least something.
I can't believe that if Michael Pittman was available for a pick swap that they didn't do it. That just
he loves to go to Pittsburgh.
Right.
Of course.
It seems like an Andrew Berry special.
Sure.
Like that is right up his alley.
Right, and that guy just instant credibility to your group.
Oh, so. He's a hard worker. Like he will do anything for your team. Like physical. Like I don't know.
They must not want to give the extension.
He's a perfect Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yeah. No, and I understand that, and they're not really in position to. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're spending ahead. They're spending. They positioned themselves with enough money over the course of this week to be aggressive to an extent. Now, they're going to clear up more money after 4 p.m. today when these things become official because of the Njoku release and post-June 1 designation and presumably the Bitonio release and post-June 1 designation. So then, now another wave of guys becomes available. Kyler doesn't officially hit the market today. And I'm not connecting Kyler to Cleveland. I'm just saying that's another domino. So I think when you look at the quarterback market, it was always Malik Willis at 1 because he was going to get real money. And then it's Kyler, who's probably the best of the next rest, and he's not getting any money because Arizona's paying his salary for 26. So once he goes, the rest of it comes in. The Jets knew they were out. They went and got Geno
Why
Smith.
Was Tua able to sign then, and Kyler hasn't?
Because Tua was officially Tua agreed.
Oh, so I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So
just not officially.
there are technicalities to this. The Browns, Malik Collins last year was a June 1 of the Niners. So he didn't officially sign with the Browns till Thursday. But on Tuesday, the Browns knew they were getting Malik Collins. It's just kind of how this goes.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully they do something at a position we could at least
it's
watching shorts. And
It's hard to analyze offensive linemen.
Yeah.
No doubt.
It just is. You know, on The Athletic, we do these templated releases when a top 100 free agent. And when it's a player that has stats and has a long track record, it's easy. It's a great, quick read. When it's an offensive lineman, what can you say? Especially when it's like the first one of, they're bringing in 3 or 4.
And with the offensive lineman, and this has been, I guess I kind of knew it, but until these most 3 recent signings, like it didn't. the PFF grades versus the ESPN grades and how they judge, I mean, they're night and day. Like, could not be more similar. And I don't know which one is more reliable. Like, genuinely speaking, I don't know which is a better use of, which tool is more useful. But, like, ESPN had Zion Johnson as a better pass blocker than a run blocker. PFF had him as one of the worst pass blocking guards in football and one of the best run blocking. How they're looking at the same thing and getting night and day different. Same with Jenkins, by the way.
Which one? Elgton?
Not Tevin. Elgton, yes. Elgton Jenkins was completely opposite the PFF versus the ESPN. And, you know, I don't. Do you have a preference? I know you work for a totally different outlet, but
no. But if any advanced stat, I think you're looking to just put him in a bucket, right? If it's this grade, it probably means he's at least okay. But right when they're that starkly different, it is interesting, and it's hard. It's not. It doesn't mean the PFF is awful or great. It's hard. You don't know what they're being asked to do.
Are you surprised Alec Pierce got almost $30 million, the same contract as T. Higgins?
I'm not, because the timing is everything, and he hit the market here the time the Colts didn't think they could lose him, and there's other teams lurking. I mean, Dobbs, that's an overpay too on Dobbs. Now you're supporting Drake May, you're building around your guy. It makes sense, but he's not a number one receiver.
No.
Alec Pierce has been like a 5-target-a-game guy. I mean, he's got the highlight reel, but when has he ever been a volume guy?
I don't know.
At
Cincinnati?
We had his stats.
How about that Cincinnati team that made the playoffs?
Unbelievable.
The contracts that they've cashed in on those guys.
Who else was on that?
Sauce Gardner, Alec Pierce.
They literally tweeted out a graphic. Jerome Ford was on that team, too, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
They tweeted out, it was crazy. Cincinnati football, Bearcats football. There we go. I bet you it's their pinned tweet. It should be.
Yeah, it should be.
It is not, because social media is just...
Either way.
Yeah, I'm blanking.
They overpaid for him. I mean, he's obviously a very talented player, but, I mean, every time this year, I feel like, this time of year, I feel like we all have sticker shock with these contracts.
Yeah, we do. Look,
Kobe Bryant was part of it.
Yeah. Where you sit with the Browns comes down to this. What their plan is, or what their real expectations are for the next 6 months and 2 years, we don't know. And that will change. But they have to nail this draft. These prices are not getting any less outrageous. They have holes, and they have solidified their biggest weakness. But have they gotten any better? I don't know. Whichever side you're on, it's just like being whatever side you're on with Shedeur right now. We have to see. We have to see how the improvements come. We have to see how the chemistry comes. We have to see what chances they get. But they have to surround him and everybody with better players. If they don't have another outstanding top of the draft, then they're just going to continue to be one of the worst teams in the league, and that's what they are, one of the worst teams.
If these players in this year's draft don't produce as rookies on the field like last year's class, where does Andrew Berry sit in this whole thing?
Well, it seems to me he has infinite job security.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like he's what's his face?
I also think, although I think you could easily make the case that he has done things for job security and this long-term plan that we wonder if it is ever going to come to fruition, I also think some of the moves, like firing the coach, indicate that he knows he has to win. And that's what I'm most curious to see here. It's hard to get a new line to gel. It's hard to get a new quarterback with new staff. It's really hard to complete passes when your receivers are Jamari Thrash and Jerry Jeudy, right? But if this team starts 1-5, Dustin, like, what kind of pressure is anybody under?
Yeah. It's good.
Are you surprised, real quick, Njoku and Teller, in particular, Pochich, haven't really got any free agency?
Well, Pochich, no, because he has a major injury. But those guys don't officially, again, they don't officially become free till today. And there's not going to be a ton of market on those guys. David Njoku can't run anymore.
No, he lost it like overnight.
Yeah. He had 4 big games at the end of 23, and then Browns continually rewarded him with contracts, and he never played well again. It's
he was paid like Travis Kelce.
People are like, we love this guy. He celebrated. Well, he's the only one who ever scored more than 5 touchdowns.
It's true. It is true.
There was once a year where like Terrell Pryor led you in touchdown receptions.
Yeah, and then never was in the league again.
So it happens.
And Super Chats.
Yeah, you want to just get right into them?
Yeah.
Our first one comes from Heidelberg today. He says, these free agent pickups show that AB sucks and missed on all 5 of his offensive linemen that he drafted.
Yeah. But
hot take.
But if you can't cook and you continue to buy groceries and try to cook, you're never going to eat.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to DoorDash.
Andrew Berry just DoorDashed a few offensive linemen, and I could not applaud him more for doing that.
I'll go broke using DoorDash, but the Haslams have told Andrew, DoorDash all you want. we will keep refilling your account.
Next one comes from Baby. Why are we fighting so hard against a new head coach, setting a new culture, and giving everyone, including Watson, a clean slate? Zach, chill out.
I don't think we're fighting against Todd Monken. I think we're expelling the reality that Todd Monken inherited an offensive line room that was completely empty, a laughably bad wide receiver group, and a laughably bad and completely unproven quarterback group. If you think Deshaun Watson can save the day, good for you. Enjoy the season.
It's fair, yeah.
That's well said. Well said.
All right, from Neo, here's a crazy idea. Trade the 24th and future 1st and 2nd for Max. Would you guys do it? Or if we trade down and get a future 2 firsts?
No, because Max Crosby is not going to catch touchdown passes.
Yeah, you've made such a big commitment to Miles. It's just not reality.
Yeah.
In a hypothetical world where the money worked, just bear with me. A line with Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, Mason Graham, and Malik Collins. Eminem. I'm in.
Still an offensive league, dude.
Right, you still got.
I'm not saying you're winning games. I just said I like the nickname Eminem and Eminem.
Oh, okay, cool.
If you
Also,
weren't- it just does come down to money. It's a great thought. It's a great Madden thought, but in reality and roster building, it just
your
doesn't
defense
work.
would have to be so good if you put another $30 million a year player in that vicinity, because you have to subtract from the offense now, because you can't fit Max without now subtracting one of those offensive linemen you signed, if not 2 of them. You could win games.
Sure, but then you're still one play away from him not being on the field and you don't have a quarterback.
We're using the Madden
I know.
hypothetical. You're winning games 12-6, and maybe Shedeur takes a step forward, and you expect Shedeur to take a step forward, but take 2 of those offensive linemen out and you fill them with rookies. Could be another catastrophe. Your wide receiver room would still be a catastrophe. You're banking on Shedeur taking such a giant leap from year 1 to 2 that he could raise the bar of everybody, which maybe it could happen. I'm not saying it's impossible, but that's a really hard something to ask a guy who has 7 career starts to then do in his second year in a new offense where he's completely relearning everything. You'd be trying to win games 9-6.
Yeah, you'd be a nightmare to play against. But
Joe Burrow would crap his pants.
How
on
sustainable is that for success? Is and especially with this team, like they're just so defensive heavy. You have a certain budget, and you have still big offensive holes to fill.
And you saw late in the season, you could win a game. You can win 2 games with a defense that completely nullifies the opposing team's offense. And then the offense doesn't have to do a ton, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, to win those games. I just don't think it's sustainable over the course of a 17-game season to put yourself in a position to actually make a playoff run.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, Ed, next one.
All right, last one. I had to do a little translating, but it goes for Mike. Do you think Max is going to break out of his shooting slump tonight? For Dustin, how much do you think Donovan Mitchell is going to score? And I love the show. I'll be over on the WKYC app.
Well, Max is not playing tonight. I think he means Sam. Will Sam break out of his shooting slump? Because Sam has been in a shooting slump.
Yeah.
Sam is too good of a shooter to be healthy and miss as many shots as he's missed the last couple of games. He has historically played very well against Orlando in the past. The way Orlando defends is drop, they sag, it leaves guys open in the corners. That is what Sam Merrill should be able to do. I mentioned on the show yesterday, I think he may be a little injured. I saw him at halftime, warming up before the game. He went 10 of 22 on warm-up shots. Sam's way too good of a shooter.
Right, he's usually 19 of 22.
If not 21 of 22, because he's that good of a shooter. So I think maybe he re-injured a finger or the wrist. He's fallen a bunch the last couple of games. Hopefully it's just a nothing burger. But, yeah, he's too good of a shooter to be in a slump for as long as he's been without breaking out unless there's something more here. For the Donovan question, let's turn it over to Dustin Fox.
32 points tonight.
Take the over. Donovan, by the way, kills drop coverage.
Yeah. I remember the game in Orlando, he had 50, right? Didn't he have it was a playoff game,
He had
right?
a huge game, yeah. Yeah, the playoff game, yeah, he had 50.
It was 50. Yeah.
They lost that game.
I remember, but he had an awesome game. So I always think about when he plays the Magic, take the over.
It's because they play that drop coverage, and that is where Donovan is as good as literally anybody in the league at making you pay on drop coverage.
Some people got spreadsheets for days. Dustin's got Donovan's playing Orlando. Take the over.
Take the over. I also would second.
Iona at home, they play fast, Zach.
They used to.
Are you guys ready for some conference basketball tournaments here?
We're already in it.
Yeah. I'll be there Friday night.
We're already
and
looking at the
Saturday.
scores.
You go to the MAC?
Yeah.
You got a suite or anything? Any hookups?
I'm working on it.
Let me know.
I'm trying to get my image up here,
Okay. Let me know. If you
Invite me.
Miami Saturday.
do you say?
I'm trying to go to the Miami game Saturday with Bree because that's where she graduated from.
Buy your tickets now. Because
Is it going to be sold
I have
out?
to buy tickets.
It's going to be the biggest crowd. If it's
In
Miami and
history,
Akron,
it'll be
the
the
biggest crowd
biggest.
they've had.
Yeah.
The club seats have been sold out, and that usually doesn't happen.
No.
Are they going to open the upper? They take the
I don't know. We're gonna-
the curtains down?
That's a question
I
I'm
hope
gonna
so.
Get an answer to.
If it's Akron, Miami in the championship, and those are the 1-2, right? So it can be Akron, Miami in the championship. It's going to be bananas.
Yeah.
They'll play OU when?
OU plays Kent tomorrow, and the winner that'll play Akron on Friday.
So OU could play in the final?
Yeah,
Against Miami.
OU's not very good.
Right, but it's it's
but
one of those years.
So Akron is the minus money favorite as the 2 seed.
Yeah.
And then Miami is the second choice in the betting board. So Miami has UMass, and then the Bowling Green Toledo winner, and Akron has Buffalo, and then probably Kent State.
Yeah.
And Saturday night,
Miami
title
they were what, 32-0?
31-0.
31-0. Required some luck to get there.
Sure.
I mean, they didn't really play anybody.
Every
Gotta
31-0 team has a
Yeah.
little bit of
Right,
luck.
Gotta make big shots.
But if you play in the SEC and you're 31-0,
Very different than the MAC.
Sure.
yes.
But Kentucky was, and they didn't get all the way there.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess.
All right.
It's crazy hard.
We are heading overtime where we're talking about Bam Adebayo and 83 points. We'll see you in 3 minutes. Peace.